A winner yesterday, and tonight they get back to playing the National League West. Troy Tulowitzki and the Rockies are here. Tulo, an offensive juggernaut and a clear-cut all-star. While the Giants offense doesn't have a favorite to make the Midsummer Classic, they still have the best record in the game. It's game one of the three-game series. Giants-Rockies next. It's a perfect night for baseball in the corner of 3rd and King Streets, 24 Willie Mays Plaza, and the Giants open up a three-game series against National League West contender, the Colorado Rockies. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller for Dwayne Kuiper, who is on assignment, not feeling too well right now, so we send him our best, and he should be back tomorrow. And Mike Krukow, this Giants ball club, got back to its winning ways yesterday, now playing a Colorado ball club that has been hitting like crazy, but after the Giants left town back in late May, the Rockies just fell apart. They lost 14 of their next 17. They have won a couple of games now against a good Atlanta ball club, and they still have a lot of offense in that lineup, even though 3 of their top sluggers are missing right now with injury.
Yeah, it's amazing when you take out a Nolan Arenado and you take a Carlos Gonzalez and a Michael Kadire, and Walt Weiss, the skipper of the Rockies, makes no excuses. He says, we have enough offense to win. We expect to win. And that's the attitude they have. So you expect offense tonight. It faces up with Jorge De La Rosa, the lefty for the Rockies, and Tim Lincecum, who's coming off a very nice start. And both pitchers will benefit from Mike Winters, the plate umpire, is a good pitcher's umpire. Where it all looked like it was going to be about the offense, with that strike zone tonight, it may be about the pitching.
All right, so Lincecum and the left-hander De La Rosa. De La Rosa, we should have time for a lot of ad-libs between pitches with De La Rosa. And if the Giants need the bullpen, if they're leading late, they know that they can go to Gene Machi, who has come out of nowhere as a Giant after a long time in the minors. He's been outstanding. Amy G with more about Machi.
broadcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for the new Jalapeno Ranch or Barbecue Ultimate Cheeseburgers at participating restaurants. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Your San Francisco Giants looking to string together back-to-back wins tonight. They welcome in division rival the Colorado Rockies for Game 1 of a 3-game series. Welcome back to the broadcast. I'm Amy Gutierrez, and the Giants' bullpen has been a highlight this season. Its 2.48 ERA ranks second lowest in all of baseball, and one of its stars has been Gene Machi. He's 5-0 with 2 saves on the season, and tonight he's our forward right choice. Machi has not allowed a run in his last 23 innings pitched. That's the longest scoreless streak since Affeldt tossed 28 scoreless frames in '09. And Machi's 0.31 ERA is the lowest among relievers in the majors. Now, he's relied heavily on his split finger fastball, which has been described as wicked nasty. Bullpen coach Mark Gardner said that's because it has fastball arm action, and then the bottom drops out on you. Gardy also said that Machi's long road to the majors has been very inspiring, and he is a good fit with this team. All right, John and Mike have the call this evening. They'll have lineups and first pitch, but after these messages, we are going to check in with our Comcast Sportsnet studios for an update.
And still coming into the ballpark as the Giants and Rockies are just about ready to play ball on a beautiful night on the shores of San Francisco Bay. The game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 64 degrees here at game time. The winds at 15 miles per hour coming from the west. And as we look at the flags, blowing straight out toward the bay. And the forecast, clear. And maybe cloudy. But mostly clear.
Mostly clear.
The Colorado lineup, Charlie Blackmon leads off right field. Drew Stubbs in center field with Troy Tulowitzki at shortstop, leading the majors in batting average, on base percentage, slugging percentage, and in all-star balloting for shortstop. Justin Morneau, first base. Willeen Rosario, the catcher. He's done a lot of damage to Lincecum in the past. Corey Dickerson in left field, hitting .347. Josh Rutledge just back from the minor leagues, and he is on fire, although the Rockies just coming from home where they usually hit well. DJ LeMahieu over at third base with Arenado out with an injury, and De La Rosa, the pitcher, bats ninth.
On the hill tonight for the Giants will be Tim Lincecum, two-time Cy Young Award winner and four-time All-Star, making his 14th start of the season. The Giants at 9-4 when Tim Lincecum takes the hill, 6-2 here at AT&T. Let's take a look at his record. 5-4 with a 4.97 ERA, 32 walks. That puts him amongst the league leaders. Still over a 2-to-1 strikeout walk ratio. A fastball low 90s with a curveball, slider, and a split. Those are the weapons that he will go after the Colorado Rockies with. Lifetime against these Rockies, 11-9 with a 3.96 ERA. Let's look at his defense. Starting in the outfield from left to right, the Giants will have Morse, Pagan, and Pence. That's your outfield. Adrianza and Sandoval will patrol the left side of the infield. Hicks and Posey on the right side. And Hector Sanchez will be in the squad, putting down the signs tonight.
And here we go. The low-lying sun reflecting off the hitter's backdrop into the eyes of the hitter, with both the pitcher and batter in the dark shadows. And it's called strike one. We are underway. Blackmon off to a great start this year, and he has tailed off a little bit. However, look at the home runs, 12 homers, all from the leadoff spot, and that is already a Colorado Rockies team record. They've never had a leadoff guy hit that many home runs in a full season, much less the first 66 games. Off the outside, and it's a ball and a strike. Blackmon, a fast runner, has 12 steals. He leads the club in that category. So his steal total and homer total are identical. He also has a .344 on base average. That is out of play. Back into the second deck, strike two.
It's good velocity in the fastball for Lincecum. Right away, he's established the knee-high location. That's important. He has a good strike zone to work with tonight. Mike Winters is an umpire that will look for strikes. An old schooler, if you would. He'll have a big zone early in the game, and then as the game wears on, it tightens it up.
Chris Siegel at first, Malinsky at second, Wegner at third. And Blackmon lays off that 93-mile-an-hour heater. Lincecum has had 27 career starts against the Rockies. He's 11-9 lifetime against them. Shallow left center. And there is Morse.
Now let's take a look at the Nissan keys to the game. And for Tim Lincecum, it's simple. Strike zone command. As we mentioned, he has had a lot of walks recently in his last 4 starts. He's had 14 walks. He needs to cut those down and bring back the long ball. We like the long ball. Giants were hitting a lot of home runs, and all of a sudden they kind of took a vacation. We'd like to see those come back. Those are Nissan keys to the game.
Yeah, what happened to all the big flies? 6 straight games, no homers.
I know. I can't explain this.
1 homer in the 7 games of the homestand. 0-1. Drew Stubbs.
Hey, the Gamer Babes are here. Pre-game meal.
A little garlic fry action there.
Oh, yeah.
On the inside corner, strike 2 called. Stubbs, formerly with the Cincinnati Reds, came up with the Reds originally. last year with Cleveland in the American League. And he's worn out left-handed pitching this year as he takes high for a ball. But Stubbs hitting .256 against right-handers so far. Although I think the Reds would have been thrilled to see that because he just wasn't hitting at all. That's why they traded him. And off the outside. 2-2.
The way Hector Sanchez caught that ball, he kind of took it out of the strike zone. Kind of pancaked that ball. If you're going to get that outside corner of the breaking ball, you got to stick it. You got to catch it. You got to hold it there.
The check swing and appeal. No, says first base umpire Siegel. 3-2.
All right, did he go? Whew. We saw that called strike 3 last night. I can see why Hector Sanchez wanted that one. It's 50-50.
Well, really, it was out in that area. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Here is Adrianza. Stubbs, a very fast runner. Adrianza gets him by plenty. Buster Posey with the put out. 2 down. And here comes Bay Area product, Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki and Lincecum. They faced each other many, many, many times. 55 official at bats for Tulowitzki against Lincecum in his career. And you see he's hitting .477 at Coors Field, .234 on the road, .356 overall. Got the 17 homers, 43 batted in. Tulowitzki leading the league in batting average, tied for the league lead in home runs. In the dirt.
And you have to pitch him like he's in Coors Field, even though you're here at AT&T. I mean, the thing about Tulowitzki is he has got a very strong barrel head, and he hits the ball all over with drive and with power. And he's not an easy guy to pitch to. A great mistake hitter.
The infield puts a shift on for him, and that breaking ball a little bit high. 2-0. Giants have the 3 infielders to the left of second, and only the first baseman, Buster Posey, all by himself over on the right side. You see Tulowitzki's career numbers against Lincecum, not very good. Lincecum's more than held his own against this great slugger. And it's ball 3. Lincecum thought maybe that was a strike at the knees.
Well, he thought the second pitch was a strike too. You're going to get more low strikes with winners than you will belt highs. And Tulowitzki will swing 3-0.
Get that straight up stance. And the walk. So with 2 down, Tulowitzki gets the 4-pitch walk. He goes to first, and now Justin Morneau will come up. A longtime American leaguer with the Minnesota Twins, and late last year acquired for the stretch run by the Pittsburgh Pirates, his first National League exposure. Morneau hitting .292, 11 homers, 40 batted in, a .327 on base percentage.
And he's a good fastball hitter, and he will definitely pull the trigger on a first pitch fastball. He looks to swing early.
And Tulowitzki heads for second, and he makes it. Not a very good throw by Sanchez either. Too low. That was not easy for him getting into second base.
I don't know if he's stuck in the ground or what caused the awkward slide, but this is how you get hurt. I don't think he expected a throw. But boy, his left leg really jammed into the bag.
One ball and no strikes. That scored as a pass ball on Sanchez. 2-0. Lincecum has not had a strike in the last 6 pitches now. This is the first time that Lincecum and Morneau have ever faced. This is Lincecum's first start against the Rockies this year. Two and one.
One more look at the Tulowitzki slide. Watch the left leg hit the side of the bag, and it just stops him abruptly. And he felt that. Rockies cannot afford any more injuries. They have lost some key people to their lineup.
2-1 the count. Strike 2 call.
A little split, maybe even a backdoor slider. At times they're hard to tell the two. And that is a slider, and it just tucks in on the outside corner. And that was a gift. Thank you very much.
2-2 to Morneau. 2 down. Tulowitzki at second. Up the first base side, foul. And Eric Young handled that one. Longtime major leaguer, an original Rocky, who hit a home run in the first at bat of the first home game when the Rockies were born in 1993. 2-2 the count.
That last pitch was a beautiful pitch. He's got an open base. He doesn't have to give in to him.
Out in right field, Hicks definitely hit that one into the defense. The shift pays off. Tulowitzki stranded. Pagan, Pence, Posey coming up. Coming up on a beautiful night in the city by the bay. And the Giants batting order now brought to you by Coors Light. Pagan in center, Pence in right, and Pence is hitting .433 with 3 homers in 30 at bats against the Rockies so far this year. Buster Posey at first, Sandoval at third, Michael Morse in left, Hector Sanchez the catcher, Brandon Hicks at second hitting 7th, Adrianza giving Brandon Crawford a day of rest, and Tim Lincecum the pitcher batting 9th.
On the hill tonight for the Colorado Rockies will be Jorge De La Rosa, the native of Monterrey, Mexico. Take a look at what he has done at 13 starts, 6-5 with a 4.04 ERA, 56 strikeouts and 71 1/3. And you're going to see a good fastball. He'll cruise in the low 90s, but we get you into a 2-strike, he can hump it up into mid 90s. It's almost like another fastball. Big curveball. It's a slow one. He also has a slider and a changeup, and he'll throw everything. And with him, you know, he'll rock along, he'll retire 9 guys in a row, and every once in a while he'll get a wild hair up his nose, and then he struggles. So it's just a matter of being able to repeat the stroke. If he's got a good rhythm going, he can be very, very nasty. Let's take a look at the Rockies defense playing behind De La Rosa tonight, starting in the outfield. From left to right, it'll be Dickerson, Stubbs, and Blackmon. And the best arm is in center field with Drew Stubbs. Tulowitzki and LeMahieu on the left side of the infield. Rutledge and Morneau on the right side. And Willeen Rosario will be in the squad putting down the signs.
Now that's healing over a little bit there.
That's beautiful. I want to be there right now.
Hurrying into McCovey Cove.
Yeah, they're going to be late. Come on, get in here.
Come on. What a night here in the city as De La Rosa gets ready to face Pagan. Showing bunt. And that's called a ball, and that shocked catcher Rosario. He thought it was a strike. Pagan 6 for 25 lifetime against De La Rosa. And his average suffered while the Nationals were in here. He went over his last 11. 1 for 15 in the series all told. Three and 0.
De La Rosa, one of the really slow workers. And you notice his little hesitation as he lifts his front leg up to start his motion. He has a little pause. And he does that to give himself a little time to get gathered before he starts home.
3-1.
But his pace is it's beyond deliberate. It's flat out slow. Here's that little pause we're talking about right there. Gets gathered, another lift, and then he goes. And his arm is in excellent throwing position when he gets that foot down, and that's all you concern yourself with if you're a pitcher, being in that position.
Right to Tulowitzki. One away. The guy hit it sharply, but right into the defense. Tulo was playing him to pull over into the hole toward third. Now Hunter Pence will come up. This is the 20th start, as you see Pence numbers. He got 2 homers lifetime in 19 at bats against De La Rosa. In right field, Blackman, plenty of room, 2 down. So Pence is promptly retired. 20th career start for De La Rosa against the Giants, plus he's had 3 relief appearances against them. He's 9-5 against the Giants. He's always been tough to beat for the Giants as Buster Posey comes up. This year, though, De La Rosa has a 5.11 earned run average against the Giants. Buster Posey, 2 down, nobody on. 1 ball and no strikes. It was De La Rosa who started against the Giants back on May the 22nd in Denver, the last time the 2 teams played. He went 3 no-hit innings, and then they had a rain delay, and they did not bring him back afterward. That game has still not been finished. It's right now a suspended game, and they will continue it from the point of suspension on Labor Day, the next time Giants get to Denver. 2-0 to Buster. 3-0. That game eventually got to the 6th inning. After the first rain delay, they started again and then had another rain delay. The Rockies had a runner at first and 2 down in the 6th inning in a 2-2 tie. And it was decided to suspend the game at that point after about another hour-and-a-half rain delay. 3-1. Buster against De La Rosa is hitting .304. He's never hit a home run against him in 23 at bats. See how they're playing him?
Pretty straight away. Slight bunch in right center.
Popped up, shallow right. And Blackman. And the Giants go down in order. 3 up, 3 down. And we move to the 2nd. Let's get back to the mound with Rosario coming up.
job last night, gentlemen. He threw 1 inning in San Jose, 15 pitches, 10 for strikes. He struck out the side. He's back with San Francisco today, did some running with the pitchers. Now, he was slated to throw again tomorrow with San Jose, but the skipper said they may not give him another start, and they may activate him this weekend, and he could be on a plane to Chicago. Gentlemen?
So, apparently, it went exceedingly well based on that. Here is Rosario, the powerful right-handed hitter, the catcher for the Rockies, leading off against Lincecum. No score in the game. Started him right off with the soft stuff, and it's 0-1. And he's given Lincecum some trouble in the past.
Well, 6 hits lifetime and 16 at-bats with 2 doubles and 2 homers. I mean, that's definitely got your attention if you're Tim Lincecum. But he likes mistakes above the belt. Very unforgiving up above the belt.
Strike 2.
Yeah, that's a pretty good snap on the breaking ball. And we really saw a huge difference in his command in his last outing. I mean, really, it was much more consistent. His specialty pitches had good snap, like that last curveball, and he was throwing them all.
One and two.
0-2 split. And 0-2 counts are great, especially early in a ball game, because you could say that I'm going to throw this thing down. I'm going to see what it's working, see what it's doing, and if I miss, it's going to be a ball below the strike zone anyway. And hey, they might even swing at it, and that's what that split was.
Just got a piece of it.
When you warm up to come into a big league game, you know your stuff in the is fine or whatever. You can't fall in love with your stuff in the bullpen because you don't know what's going to show up when you get out on the mound. Watch this ball bounces, comes up and hits him right in the face. Ooh. Catchers, they can't catch a break. Leaned right into it. It looked like it got him right in the lips.
Keith Duggar, the head trainer for the Rockies, and manager Walt Weiss both went out to see if they could be of assistance. I'm sure he's not feeling great, but he's okay. He's able to continue.
Somebody punched him.
A ball and 2 strikes. The infield swung around toward third. The outfield straight away.
So basically what I'm saying is you have to reintroduce yourself to your stuff when you get out there on the mound. And you're not really quite sure what it's going to do early in the game.
Strike 3 called. Rosario knew it.
And that's 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Lincecum. Now, he doesn't get that kind of velocity if his mechanics are not sound. Now, I know they set the ball in the outside corner, but that thing started there and came across the plate in the inside corner. Nice pitch. Well, next homestand, well, you're not going to want to miss the All-Brandon weekend. The Cincinnati Reds are coming to town for a 4-game series, the 26th through the 29th. And Saturday the 28th, the first 40,000 fans will receive a Brandon Belt or Brandon Crawford bobblehead courtesy of PG&E. And on Sunday, a 1:05 start. I'll finish this in a second.
Dickerson fouls the first one, 0-1.
On that Sunday, June 29th game, the kids 14 and under will receive a Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford growth chart banner presented by Nestle Drumstick. So that's the All-Brandon weekend right here at AT&T Park. Go to sfgiants.com for tickets.
Oh, and 2. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Dickerson with a 3.47 average. He's played 46 games. Started the year in the minor leagues. Came up, I believe he came up about the time the Giants got to Denver in an earlier series back in late April. 2 strikes. And that one runs away. 1-2. There is Josh Rutledge back in the big leagues, just called up. The rash of injuries the Rockies have suffered. 2-2.
Two-seam fastball. The movement on the two-seam fastball Lincecum throws will run away from a left-handed hitter. It's a little flat movement that runs away. Very subtle, but very late, and that's the key.
Pence gets there. So 2 down.
Nice changeup. Just got out in the end of the bat. I think that broke the bat of Dickerson. Sanchez called a curveball. Lincecum shook it off. He called a slider. He shook it off. He wanted to throw that changeup and just got it out there on the end of the bat. Good location. And that's what that pitch is designed to do. Just get off a sweet spot.
2 down, bases empty. Josh Rutledge. 354 average for Rutledge. And he takes a fastball right in there for a called strike. Rutledge has been in 20 games, 48 at bats, 1 homer, 2 triples, and a double. Drifting over to his right, Angel Pagan. And that's a 3-up and 3-down inning for Tim Lincecum. Pablo Sandoval, then Michael Morse, and Hector Sanchez coming up. Better defensively than I anticipated. He's really blown me away with his defensive skills. Every ball that gets hit to that side of the field, I feel like he's going to make a play on. He's had quite a few shortstops who played behind him, including Andrelton Simmons in Atlanta. Brandon Crawford getting the night off, and then this was an agreed on night off, a scheduled night off for him. Pablo Sandoval, base hit right away, starting the Giants' second inning.
Oh, and that was not a hanger either. He went down and got that one. Well, talking about Tim Hudson, what do you say we take a look at our AT&T U-verse rewind yesterday against the Nationals? 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 unearned run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Lowered his ERA to major league leading at 1.81. He's allowed 4 or fewer runs in each of his 13 starts this season. The longest start of a career streak by a Giants pitcher who had previously played for another team since Dave Bevecchi, allowed 4 or fewer runs in each of his first 21 starts in 1987, 1988 after arriving in a trade with the Padres.
So Pablo at first, and here is Michael Morse. 287 average, 13 homers, 42 batted in, a 337 on base percentage. Morse had 3 singles yesterday. He was a table setter yesterday, primarily for Brandon Crawford. Tyler Colvin also knocked him in one time with a triple. He's got a 366 lifetime average against the Rockies. 1 ball and 1 strike. Morse has had great success going to the opposite field. The Giants have a lot of guys who've had great success when going to the opposite field.
Yeah, it's what they talk about. I mean, that's what gets them locked in to where they can have strike zone coverage. They think fastball. They think opposite gap. For Morse, he's thinking right center, thinking fastball. And if a pitcher throws you an off-speed pitch, that's what speeds your bats up, and that's what allows you to pull the ball. So it's a real good philosophy to have. A lot of guys around the league use it. The corn dog is not going to make it into the second inning. Yeah, more ketchup, Dad. More ketchup.
Ketchup?
Maybe by his next birthday he'll get his own ketchup packet, but now Dad's in full control.
Would it be a sin if he had a little mustard?
He's a ketchup guy.
I guess so. Some people are. He'll grow into mustard, I'm sure.
We all do.
3-1 the count to Morse. And he walks. And the Giants have 2 men on with nobody out to start the second. And Hector Sanchez coming up.
And we saw this happen to De La Rosa in Colorado. The first time he got into a stretch, he really had some problems with his release. And he all of a sudden lost command of the strike zone.
Hector had his greatest day as a big league hitter against the Rockies back on April 23rd. He had 2 homers, including a grand slam in the 11th inning that broke the tie and proved to be the winning hit. And he also hit a home run in the 8th inning of that same game. 2 homers, 5 batted in for him in the one game. But he has had very few hits here recently. Way inside. Sanchez, by the way, did have a 2-run pinch hit single yesterday in the 8th inning. Hector hitting .224 overall, .222 from the right side, .225 from the left side. Going back in left field is Dickerson. Got room on the edge of the track. Pablo's going to test it. And that'll get everybody up, and it goes over to the Giants dugout. And Pablo with the catcher covering the plate as De La Rosa recovers the ball finally. But Pablo, he drew him in, and that got Morse over to second as well.
Now you're going to see the Giants, they are going to challenge Corey Dickerson in left field. He does not have a good arm. And Pablo going back to second base, anticipating this. And plus his momentum was going backward as he caught the ball, so he was throwing basically flat-footed. So an easy take of third, and it could have been a little bit more. But as it is, Giants get 2 runners in scoring position, and De La Rosa loses the force at first. That's a big 90 feet for both guys.
So if you're Walt Weiss, you want Dickerson to just throw the ball to second base there, right?
Yeah.
Keep the double play in order. Brandon Hicks, strike 1. So now base hit could mean a couple of runs. A ground ball to one of the middle infielders could mean a run as well, as the Rockies play back up the middle. 8 homers, 22 batted in. He's hit over 300 against the Rockies this year with one of those home runs against Colorado. No score in the game. The Giants with a great opportunity here in the second. In the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Blocked nicely by Rosario, keeping Pablo at third. Pablo led off the inning with a single to right. Then Morse walked. Sanchez drove one deep to left, and both runners moved up. Framed against the big crowd here at AT&T Park. Hicks standing in. And another nice save by Rosario, as truly, as you pointed out earlier in the inning, right now De La Rosa's all over the place.
And he's not an easy guy to catch because of it. They set that target in the outside corner and came completely across the plate. And this is something we saw in Colorado when he got in the stretch position. He was not comfortable with it. And if you have a runner at third base and you really can't trust a pitcher to throw a fastball to your, it's going to be between your knees, that's a miserable night for a catcher.
The rookie, Adrianza, a switch hitter, is on deck. 2 balls and a strike to Hicks.
Hicks is grinded. He needs a knock.
Changed up on him, and now it's 2-2.
Hicks has 33 hits and 181 at bats, but you look at his 33 hits. He's got 8 homers, 6 doubles, and a triple. So 15 of his 33 are for extra bags. He just needs to make more contact. Here, he doesn't even have to have a hit to score. Ground ball up the middle, fly ball, just stay away from the strikeout.
Now, time taken is De La Rosa taking an extraordinary amount of time. Walt Weiss looking on for the Colorado dugout. I don't care how much time he takes, as long as he gets him out. 3-2.
That last one was not easy to block. Fastballs that are down below, they could skim on you. They could come up high. They're very unpredictable.
So a good job by Rosario.
Yeah, he's had like 2 or 3 of those plays in this at bat alone.
Rosario, that's always been the rap on him in the past. Not a good ball blocker. He's worked hard to get better. 3-2 the count. Runners at second and third. Struck him out. And he reared back. And you pointed it out at the top of the telecast that he's got that little reach back extra on occasion, and he reached back right here.
Yeah, that's all he's got right there, and he can go from just a cruising 92 up to a 95 or sometimes even higher fastball on the 2-strike. And that ball was by a good fastball hitter.
Well, they're going to leave it to Tim Lincecum. They're going to walk Adrianza intentionally. There's ball 1.
Now be ready if you're Pablo Sandoval at third base. He could throw a wild pitch here.
And they're holding Pablo on the bag, the third baseman LeMahieu right on the bag with him. Ball 2. And you see how they're playing it. And Tulowitzki the same at second base with Morse. 3-0. Morse is so big over at second base. He makes Tulo look like kind of a small guy. Not many guys can do that to Tulowitzki. And there's the 4th wide one. Mike Morse and his little partner, Troy Tulowitzki. What's Tulo, about 6'3"?
I think he's like 6'2". I mean, he's not small.
So the bases are loaded for Tim Lincecum. He's had 1 hit in 18 at bats.
You're right, 6'3".
Tulo is 6'3". Looked like he was about 5'11" there, standing against the very hulking figure of Michael Morse. Down and in, and that's the one problem walking Adrianza to load up the bases. There's been a lot of pitches here that De La Rosa has not known where they were going.
Well, Lincecum's probably going to take at least 1 strike here.
Lincecum, by the way, has the 1 hit this year. It was in his last at bat in his last start against the Mets. Okay, now he's taking a strike. 1-1. So he's on a roll right now.
He's hot.
1 for 18 for the year. He struck out 14 of those 18 times. Infield's backed up. He does have 4 sacrifice bunts. Just a bit low. 2-1. Vogelsong, Cain, Affeldt looking on from the Giants dugout. Affeldt saying, hey, it's too bad I'm not up there. I'm the best hitter among all the pitchers. Along the left field line, foul. Well, that got about 40,000 people pretty excited there for a few moments.
I'm telling you, it's in there. As good an athlete as Lincecum is, he really should be a better hitter. And he works at it, too. It's not like he doesn't work at being a better hitter. He works on it every day.
Two and two, bases loaded, 2 down. And he got a piece of that one to fight it off right over to the Giants dugout. A little bit late on it. And Rosario's going to go out and talk to De La Rosa. De La Rosa has thrown 23 pitches in this inning.
Welcome to the freak show.
Tim Lincecum, the nickname by which he is affectionately known. Now it's a full count.
And now it's going to get harder to throw a strike because the fans are going to get into it. And they're going to be on their feet yelling before this ball gets thrown, and that will affect the pitcher.
Side of one at third, Morse at second, Adrianza at first, all ready to run. 3 and 2. Just foul. He's getting closer.
It's a great at bat.
That was the 25th pitch of the inning, thrown by De La Rosa. He'll have to keep throwing. The runners all return.
They're playing Lincecum as if he's a dead pull hitter with no power from the right side. You can see Dickerson almost on the line in left field. Stubbs in left center.
There go the runners. Strike 3 called. Lincecum a little disappointed in that call. We head to the third, still scoreless. Coors Light. Colorado Rockies this season, and their rankings overall in batting average first, but on the road 21st in the majors. OPS first overall, 18th when traveling. Doubles similar, runs number 1 but 24th on the road, and home runs second, but they hit a lot of home runs on the road too. Got to respect their power no matter where you face them. And there's ball 1 to DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu's a big guy. It looks like he'd be a power hitter, but he has 2 home runs and 200 at bats. 1 ball, 1 strike. LeMahieu, primarily a singles and a doubles guy, and he's been in a slump here lately. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. De La Rosa, the pitcher, is on deck. That's out of play.
Lincecum's feeling with a fastball tonight. He has worked very hard to get out of his mechanical problem again, and it's starting to show. Last start and again tonight. And it's always the fastball that'll tell you where he's at.
Struck him out.
Because once he makes a hitter aware of the fastball, every one of his specialty pitches becomes magical. When he can't get the fastball over, they sit soft, and it makes it much easier to hit the specialty pitches. Here, split, grab some pine, meat, second strikeout swinging.
So now De La Rosa up against Lincecum. No score in the game. And it's 0-1.
He has definitely established the fastball in the minds of the Rockies hitter this first time through the lineup.
De La Rosa, 2 hits, 21 at bats so far this year.
He can hit.
Curveball, and there it is. His 3rd hit of the season.
Well, the Rockies are in town all weekend, and it's filled with promotions. Tomorrow, 105 start. That first 20,000 fans will receive a Mad Bum camo hat courtesy of StubHub. And on Sunday, it's Father's Day at 105 start. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Giants necktie presented by State Farm. Tickets remain for all of the 2 remaining Rocky games. Go to sfgiants.com/tickets.
So leadoff man Charlie Blackmon is next. Posey plays not right on the bag, but over in front of De La Rosa at first. Ball 1 to Blackmon, who flied out to shallow left center his first time. Dodgers are home tonight, facing Arizona and leading 2-0 back of Clayton Kershaw in the last of the 2nd inning. Matt Kemp had a home run. Young Chase Anderson pitching for Arizona. Did he swing? No. 2-0. And there is Tulowitzki in the hole with Stubbs on deck. Now Buster's going to play behind De La Rosa. And that's back out of play, 2-1.
Boy, he undressed himself with that 2-0 swing. You see swings like that, now you understand why Blackmon's got 12 home runs. I mean, that was not a singles hack. And it's certainly not a swing you see guys hitting in the leadoff spot take in 2-0 counts very often. But Blackmon's different. He's got pop. He knows it. And he will gamble when he's ahead of the count.
Three and 1. He's definitely way ahead of the count right now. Cardinals beat the Washington Nationals in St. Louis tonight, 1-0. Lynn over Zimmerman. That's foul. And it's a full count, 3-2. So they had quite a game in St. Louis. Matt Adams, just back from the disabled list, hit a home run in the 2nd inning, the only run of the game. And although the Giants won 7-1 yesterday, the way the Nationals have been pitching, it's almost like that's the only sure way to beat him is to shut him out.
Well, that had to have been a Jordan Zimmerman start for Washington. Giants missed him in the 4-game series.
It's a walk. And that puts De La Rosa over at second base.
Now, Lincecum still not the same guy out of the stretch that he is in the windup. But he's improved it. And for a while, I mean, you could just see he'd get a good rhythm out of the windup. Then once he got into a stretch position, it would be hard for him to maintain a rhythm. And then when he went back to the windup, oftentimes he couldn't find it even then. He's going to get tested right now.
Stubbs grounded out to short his first time. Big and strong, but he's a very fast runner. And that's called strike one. By the way, you mentioned Zimmerman pitching for the Nationals tonight. In that game, the Cardinals, the winning team, got 3 hits, and the Nationals got 2 hits. 5 hits total between the two teams, and the only run on the Matt Adams homer. 0-2.
Good curveball. Got to stay away from the predictable fastball with Stubbs. He's got power, and that's how he hurts you. This curveball,
Good luck trying to hit that thing. That was a nasty one.
And this time he laid off.
Now, that's something that Stubbs had a real problem with early in his career. He could flop 2 or 3 curveballs in the dirt, and he was going to hack at him. This year, a little more selective, and it's showing up in his average.
2-2. Nice save there by Sanchez, keeping the runners right where they were.
Watch Hector go down with a block.
Base hit. De La Rosa is going to stop at third. And now the bases are loaded for the league's leading hitter, Troy Tulowitzki. And it all started with De La Rosa's lead, 1-out single.
Set up in the outside corner with the fastball, and it lays out middle end. And a little topspin liner seed and hit so hard that De La Rosa couldn't score. So that was the good news. But let's come upset because he let a hitter go when he had a 2-strike advantage. And for strikeout guys, that will upset you.
Tulowitzki hitting nearly 400 in his career with the bases loaded. Popped up. Infield fly rule here. So he's already out as Pablo makes the catch anyway. 2 down, and that was huge. Tulowitzki gone on 1 pitch.
That's better than a strikeout.
But he's not out of it just yet as Morneau comes up. Former American League MVP. So real frustration for sure for Tulowitzki, who had walked his first time. 3 men on, 2 men out. No score, 3rd inning. Morneau grounded out to second his first time. He had a big rip at that one, back out of play.
Now they stayed away from the fastball, opened him up with a split. It could have been a slider, but it was an off-speed pitch.
The Giants have a shift on against Morneau with the second baseman Hicks well out into right field. And the shortstop Adrianza well over toward the middle, but not overshifted to the right side. That is going to fall. Base hit. De La Rosa in to score. Here comes Blackman. The throw cut off by Posey. And it's 2-0 Rockies. So he did get Tulowitzki, but not Morneau. '41st and 42nd RBIs this year for Morneau.
Now look at the location right at the belt. You're ahead to count 0-1. I mean, you do not have to throw a ball in the middle of the strike zone. That's the time you can go down below the strike zone, let the hitter help you out, swing at your pitch. That was a bad location mistake.
Dave Righetti, the pitching coach, out for a chat. And now back to the dugout. 2 runs are in, and he's still in a jam here as Rosario comes up. Lincecum has thrown 20 pitches in this inning. And 53 already in these first 3 innings. Rosario struck out looking his first time. Oh, 0-1. Stubbs now at third, Morneau at first. Morneau not really a big threat to try and steal a bag. He has not attempted a steal this year. Pablo would go the short route. Hicks with the put out at second. Rosario hits into the force play, but the Giants now have to play from behind, trailing 2-0. Top of the order coming up.
our fans. We're not here just for the ambiance. We're here for our team.
Well, that's a clip from one of our gamer babes who will be attending our first annual gamer event tomorrow. If you've already got your tickets for tomorrow's game, we have a special offer available for you to attend the pregame gamer discussion hosted by me. Go to sfgiants.com/special events and purchase the event-only ticket offer. Nicole Vogelsong will be there, Javier and Renee Lopez, Amy G will be there, and some other surprise guests. So I'd love to have you.
Pagan leads off for the Giants, who got the bases loaded in the second inning, but with Tim Lincecum up, they did have second and third, one out, but Hicks struck out, and ultimately, although Lincecum gave him a great battle, De La Rosa struck him out on the 26th pitch he threw in the inning. So the Rockies have bounced back, and they have taken the lead. Back in center is Stubbs. No, over his head. Pagan with a double.
Wow, I think that shocked everybody. Drew Stubbs has as much range as anybody in the National League. He kind of played in shallow here, and as this ball got up with some backspin, we saw it start to get some drift, and you will get drift to center field. It has always been this way. But it just kept going and surprised even Stubbs. And look at him take on the wall. An easy two-bagger for Pagan, and he never really got that close to it.
Well, the flags above the scoreboard indicate the wind blowing straight out. So maybe that got a push. But that one really carried. Here's Hunter Pence. 1 ball and no strikes. Pence flied out to right his first time. Tim Flannery over the third base coaching lines, number 1, hoping to soon wave Pagan in. Now, it's also been since 1 week ago tonight that the Giants have last hit a home run. It was the 8th inning a week ago tonight when Buster Posey went deep, and nobody's gone deep since. Hunter Pence, who has 8 home runs this year. And that'll go out of play off to the right. Took something off that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Brandon Belt had such a hot home run pace going. Then how long has he been out now? 3-4 weeks?
Yeah, it's going to be a while longer.
And he is still second on the club in home runs with 9. Hunter Pence choking up in the bat a little bit. Bundle of energy up there. Base hit to left field. Pagan is going to be waved. Dickerson, not even close. Pence back to first. So it's 2-1.
Yeah, a smart play, too, to freeze if you're Hunter Pence. Nobody out here. You got Buster Posey coming up. I mean, you don't really need to try for second base, but let's take a look at good hit. Down and in, knee high. Pulls the trigger on it, rakes it right through the left side. They played him towards the middle. And as we said, they are going to take on Dickerson all night long. He does not have a good arm. An easy decision for Tim Flannery. Now let's watch the Flan man green light him right here.
Buster Posey now. 1 ball and no strikes. Buster flied out to shallow right center. In the first inning, he's 0 for 1. Buster has a history of doing very well against the Rockies. Pence at first, Morneau on the bag with him. Right at the bag, LeMahieu. Just in time. Buster was signaling save. He thought he beat the throw. Chris Siegel said no.
I'm sure they're going to look at it.
Bochy's going to come out while Sean Dunston down in the video room checks the replays, and we'll check it ourselves here.
Yeah, he was out. I think that play will stand. Very close, and you can see why Buster was concerned. But I think they got him, and I don't think there's enough evidence to overturn it.
And that's what Sean Dunston apparently relayed to Ron Wotus, the Giants bench coach, from the video room. Because it has to be conclusive. You have to have a shot that says without question that his foot was on the bag before or at the same time the ball stuck in the webbing of the glove. Well done there by LeMahieu from third base. Here is Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah,
but it did move Pence into scoring position. Sorry, Mike.
I was just going to say, a nice play from a guy who hasn't played a whole lot of third base this year.
He's their regular second baseman.
Rockies have no more Nolan Arenado. He's on the DL. Carlos Gonzalez had surgery on his finger. And Michael Kadire broke a bone in his shoulder, and he's going to be out at least 10 weeks. That's a lot of offense to lose from the lineup.
Pablo backing out as De La Rosa seems to want to do anything except throw a pitch.
Yep. You can tell they're pretty good friends.
On the inside, and it's 0-1. Pablo single to right his first time.
He's the happiest guy in the world. Well, and as a matter of fact, she may be the happiest mom in the world. Both children. Yeah, life is good.
Pence breaks for third. He'll make it easily. Tulowitzki throws out Pablo.
May 23rd, we go back, and this is the injury to Nolan Arenado. He jammed his hand into the bag and broke his finger, very much like the way that Marco Scudero broke his finger last year.
The mallet finger.
So DJ LeMahieu came from second base over to third. Josh Rutledge started playing every day again at second base.
Michael Morse, the hitter now. Dwayne Kuiper on assignment tonight.
Hopefully get him back tomorrow.
It's an assignment to get well fast. Back tomorrow. And it's 0-1. Dave Fleming over on radio side will switch over here into television side in the middle innings. As Rosario goes out to the mound to talk to De La Rosa. There he's all dressed up.
He shines up pretty good, doesn't he?
He does. Now apparently there's something wrong with De La Rosa. Walt Weiss and the trainer Keith Duggar out to have a visit. See if they can find out what's going on.
This is not good.
Pitching coach Jim Wright also out there.
Watch his follow through. He walks off the mound, and Rosario immediately noticed some discomfort from his pitcher.
Taking a practice pitch here.
All right, he gives it a thumb up. So I guess we're good. Take a look at low home to see what we can see. Maybe he had a little biter in his back.
Well, Rosario, whatever it was, he saw something that he didn't like seeing from De La Rosa, and he immediately went out there. 1 strike to count to Michael Morse. De La Rosa, whatever it was, seems to be okay. Pence at third, a run in, 2-1, Colorado leading.
Again, another wins from De La Rosa. So I don't know how comfortable he is.
33-year-old lefty. He's ahead of Morse, 0-2. He walked him the first time. He's about to throw his 50th pitch in these first 3 innings. He's had to work hard.
A lot of pitches out of the stretch, a lot of stress.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hector Sanchez out on deck. And he changed up on him there. Got him lunging, but he got a piece of it to stay alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes still.
Good changeup right there at 85. Knee high in the black. Away.
Infield shaded toward the third base side a bit. Not a big overshift. Curveball punched into right field, a base hit. That will tie the game as Pence comes across the plate.
Welcome back. The 2-out runner in scoring position base hit. And that's a 2-out, 2-strike knock. And for De La Rosa, those hurt. Big breaking ball. He leaves it up, inside out. Don't get greedy. Go the other way. Boy, the guy can hit. It's such solid approach. And he got his front foot down early. The hand stayed back, and he was in position to go the other way as that big curveball worked its way back in the strike zone. And Tim Lincecum's got new life.
2-2. Here is Hector Sanchez, who drove one deep to left his first time. Switch hitter, he'll bat right-handed. Rockies got 2 in the first half of this inning on a bases loaded 2-out single by Morneau. Now the Giants have tied, and it's ball 1. 94 miles an hour, but well out of the zone. Morse will hold it first. 2-0. Arizona got a run in the third down in LA on the out-of-town scoreboard. 2-1. Kershaw and the Dodgers leading the D-backs after 2.5. Down there. Ripped into left field, out of the reach of LeMahieu. Sanchez has hit the ball hard twice against De La Rosa tonight. Gets his first hit.
Look at the location. Right there, middle in at the belt. That's an easy place to defend. Strokes are right into left. And boy, we've really seen some location mistakes from De La Rosa since he has become uncomfortable with whatever it was, and we're assuming it's a back problem. There's big time concern in the Rockies dugout right now about De La Rosa.
Certainly concerned, but nobody at any time has ever started throwing in the bullpen for the Rockies. I guess they figure if he's not going to be able to continue, they'll be able to bring somebody in with the injury who will have as long as he needs to warm up. Wouldn't you be a little concerned, though, if, as the pitching coach, Jim Wright, goes out? Well, what if he's just not quite right, but he's a tough guy and he's saying he can stay in? I mean, maybe you don't find out that he's really hurting badly until 4 or 5 runs are in.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is what Jim Wright's coming out here to find out about now. A pitching coach will know his staff very well. And if he's not right, he's going to find out right now. See the concern in the look of Walt Weiss. And you're right. I mean, if it is indeed an injury, the reliever will have all the time he wants in the main diamond to get loose. He'll throw 20 pitches if he has to. So there is no real need to get somebody in the bullpen right now going. 28 balls, 27 strikes. So he has not had a great feel of the strike zone.
2-0 to Brandon Hicks, who struck out his first time. Morse at second, Sanchez at first, 2 runs in. And for De La Rosa, who threw 26 pitches in a very high stress second inning, this will be his 20th pitch of the third inning. Right here. Off the outside, and De La Rosa looks a little upset.
Now he wanted that strike, and very quickly Tommy Cain has now come down to the Rockies bullpen. He'll start getting heated up, and this has nothing to do with the injury. This has something to do with the guy who's losing it.
3-0 to Brandon Hicks. And he got the go-ahead on 3-0, fouling it.
Well, I mean, that's why he's up there. I mean, he'll run into one. And when he does, he can do some damage with it. So the thing is, get him a good pitch to hit. Why not on a 3-0 count?
Three and one to Hicks. 2 on, 2 out. Off the fists, foul. And just over the screen is Rosario, and all the way back as far as he could go. 3-2. So now Morse, who's not a fast runner, Sanchez, who's at first, also not a fast runner, will get a running start. They'll get that advantage. The outfield straight away. There they go. And popped up. Here comes Rosario again, and this too will reach back, although well back out of play. Still 3-2. That ball bounced around about like it was in a pinball machine over there.
Looked like a golf ball.
And the crowd went, whoa, 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 every time. That's how we know that when you're at the ballpark, they hit a foul ball, you watch the foul ball. You watch where it goes. De La Rosa stepped off the slab. Hicks backs away. De La Rosa steps off the slab.
Now he's slow with nobody on. When you get guys on, it's snail's pace.
The runners go. Struck him out. The Jazz get the 2, and we head to the 4th inning. Let's get back to the mound. It's 2-2. Dave Fleming coming over from radio side.
joining us now. Dave Fleming, welcome.
I like your orange.
Hey, I got the spirit.
No, you do, and we've had an exciting game. This crowd is ready to just erupt, don't you think? Everybody's into this one here tonight.
They are definitely feeling it, no question.
And that guy, Tim Lincecum, for the most part, I think his stuff has been real good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's really improved these last 2 outings. He's really started to find the fastball command, and that really sets up his specialty pitches.
So we'll see. The big 2-out hit from Morneau last inning got the Rockies on the board, but the Giants answered with 2 to tie the game. Dickerson, then Rutledge and LeMahieu. 6, 7, 8 for Colorado, and a pretty good first pitch slider called the ball. What a find Corey Dickerson has been. They drafted him, they developed him, so he's come up through their system. But with no Carlos Gonzalez, he's doing a heck of a Cargo impersonation.
And when you think about the hits that this lineup has taken this year, I mean, you lose Carlos Gonzalez, who's your 3rd or 4th hitter. You lose Michael Kadire, who's your 2nd hitter. You lose Nolan Arenado, who's an RBI guy. I mean, you take those 3 bats out of a lineup, and these guys continue to roll offensively. And you know, Walt Weiss, to his credit, I mean, he just will not let these guys feel sorry for themselves.
That fastball misses badly, 2-1.
And he says, we have talent. We have a good farm system. We're going to get through it.
Well, they do have talent, and it still looks like a pretty formidable lineup, even with the guys missing that you talked about. Good splitter there. Looked like 2-2.
Yeah, nothing to about all of his breaking balls. The curveball, the slider, and the split is they're breaking later. We saw 94-mile-an-hour fastball. I think it was in the 1st or 2nd inning, but and we hadn't seen that. You don't get that type of velocity unless your mechanics are getting close, because that's when you can crack the whip and you have a sense of your release point.
Big curve.
It's a good pitch right there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can throw a big breaking ball like that and surprise the umpire, and I think it just happened. Mike Winters is a low ball umpire, and that was a little too high for him.
Well, that one looked pretty good, though. Full count, 3-2. To left field, and Morse, kind of a late break, but plenty of time to get back and make the catch on number 1.
Well, we really need to talk about Michael Morse. I mean, when Brandon Belt goes down at first base, Michael Morse, I don't think he took many ground balls in spring training. He walked right in and assumed the position and played it flawlessly. And now, when Buster comes in and plays first base, like tonight, when Hector Sanchez catches Tim Lincecum, he goes right back out to left field and doesn't miss a step. And that is not easy to do.
You know, that first play of the game was a pretty good play. And when you consider another pretty good looking slider there, called the ball to Josh Rutledge, you consider how Lincecum has struggled in the first inning often this year. That felt like a big play to me. Start the game. That one right there, fastball, strike 1.
Mike Winters is a good pitcher's umpire. Normally he has a pretty big zone. Likes the knee-high location. You'll get low strikes, not many belts, but you get width on both sides of the plate.
Swing and a miss. Slider again, strike 2.
And good, quick, late break. Start them off at the knee or just above and just let them do their thing. And they all have downward bite.
One, two. Struck him out swinging.
And that was a split, and that is as good as you can throw one. Split finger started just above the knees and let it do its thing. I mean, we could say that about all 3 of the specialty pitches. And that's 3 strikeouts now for Lincecum. All have been swinging strike 3s.
So 2 down now. The 8th place hitter DJ LeMahieu. Lincecum struck him out first time they faced each other tonight. And a good fastball, strike 1.
You know, he throws that two-seam fastball, and it has such big movement running into a right-hander. And that's exactly what that last pitch did. And you can't see the movement, but it was about 18 inches of flat fade that bores in on his hand. That's not an easy guy to catch.
Well, you have Tyler Matzik, who started a game just a couple days ago in the on-deck circle. That may mean that Jorge De La Rosa is done. Check swing, and that one, does it stay fair? It does. Posey scoops it up and gets the out. That was a pretty nifty little play there. So Lincecum, strong inning. 2-2 to score. True stories on this date, 2012. Matt Cain's perfect game. Let's listen back.
On the ground, Arias from deep third, got him! And that's a perfect game. And the Giants mobbing Matt Cain on the pitcher's mound.
What a night.
Oh, man, what a night.
June 13th, 2012. Of course, the Giants would go on to win the World Series that year. Just one of many memorable moments, but that one stands out. So the Rockies, bottom of the fourth, and De La Rosa is out of the game when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts. No De La Rosa. Tommy Kahnle is in, Mike.
Tommy Kahnle, the 24-year-old rookie, this is what he has done in 25 games, 2-1 with a 1.89 ERA. He does have a lot of walks in 33 and a third, but they're not hitting this guy. And why? Because he's got good stuff. You're going to see a mid-90s fastball. He will cut and he'll try to sink it. Slider changeup, and very aggressive. He will pitch in and could care less if he hits you.
Now Matt Cain, June 13th, 2012. 27 up, 27 down, and the 14 strikeouts. Only Sandy Koufax ever had that many in a perfect game in big league baseball history. Easily one of the more dominant pitching performances in the history of the game.
Yeah. And what a night. You talk about electricity in the stands.
Here Adrianza against Kahnle, the new pitcher. It was just rocking. Adrianza, a little sinking liner, but didn't sink fast enough. One down. And we'll send it down to Amy G.
All right, Dave and Mike, the Rockies strung together a couple wins before coming to the Bay, and they needed the momentum. They are 57-116 all-time in San Francisco for their most losses in any road stadium. To try and get an edge, manager Walt Weiss actually rested his star shortstop Troy Tulowitzki yesterday. Walt Weiss saying about San Francisco, he said it's a tough place to play. Games are always very interesting and very intense. Dave?
Well, this one has been that, Amy. Thanks. Strike one on the foul ball off the bat of Lincecum. I mean, that at bat Lincecum had early in this game, that was big time intensity.
Yeah, and he kind of got rung up on a pitcher's pitch. I think he had a walk. Should have been awarded one.
I do too. That pitch was outside, called strike 3. It would have been a run. He didn't have many swings that looked like that.
Well, I never saw a changeup like that at 88 miles an hour.
Pretty good one.
Yeah, Cain, he's funky. He's got some big league nastiness.
This guy was a Rule 5 pick. So a guy who had not been in the big leagues before. Fastball away.
I think that was better than the 3-2 fastball he got rung up on to end the Giants inning back in the second.
I do too. Cain was plucked out of the Yankees system, and with that Rule 5 draft, that's a ball pretty close. Fastball 2-2. He's got to stay on the big league roster all year. Otherwise, the Rockies have to offer him back to the Yankees.
Oh, he's not going anywhere. This guy's legit. Good stuff. Good mentality. Loves to take the ball.
2-2. Strike 3 swinging. There's that changeup. 2 down, back to the top of the order. The Rockies, Amy was talking about the intensity here. They had an intense game yesterday. On the backswing, Dickerson got the Braves catcher Gerald Laird. So Gaddis comes in, and the next pitch, Dan Carpenter just drilled Dickerson. Walt Weiss sort of went nuts over it. He got tossed, and then when the Braves came up, Gaddis wore one from Nick Massett, who got tossed out of the game. I think Tom Runnels did too.
I've never seen that, where a guy with a backswing hits the catcher. That's not intentional. That's an accident. Why would you hit a guy for doing that? It didn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, the Braves acted like he did it on purpose. There's ball 1 to Pagan at 95.
You know, I mean, a lot of guys who have big backswings, they'll tell you, they'll warn a catcher, listen, I got a big backswing, so back up a little bit. They'll tell guys that. So nobody ever tries to hurt anybody in this game like that.
Pagan had one of the big hits of the night so far, a leadoff double against De La Rosa. And there's the changeup, strike 1 swinging.
Well, Laird, the catcher for the Braves, he had gotten hit with a foul ball prior to getting hit with the bat in the same inning. So he was seeing stars before the bat hit him.
Well, what was moving along yesterday like just a routine game, it was not a close game, it was a blowout. Changed tones quickly. Fastball high, 2-1. Meanwhile, this one, De La Rosa out, and it's just pure speculation, but whatever was going on with his lower body after a follow through, they came out and looked at him. I got to think that that's a big reason why they took him out of the game.
Yeah. I totally agree. They're not going to take a chance this early in the season. They've got an 8-man bullpen, but that gives them a 4-man bench, which is why you saw Tyler Matzek, the pitcher, in the on-deck circle.
Pagan takes high. Two to two here in the 4th. 2 outs. And a good hitter's count for Angel Pagan. Now time at home plate. Ball 4. Went with the 3-1 changeup. Well, this will be interesting to see. Pagan has had that sore lower right leg dating back to the series against the Mets last weekend. It hasn't been moving maybe 100%, but this would definitely be a spot where a steal would be a big play.
You're right. You always assume that this is the situation where you would see a leadoff hitter go, but with Hunter Pence hitting second, you're kind of in scoring position at first if he can hit one in the gap.
Well, that's true. It's not a classic number 2 hitter without a lot of power.
And that's why it's not an absolute must-go scenario for Angel Pagan, but he does have the green light. If he gets a jump, then he feels he can go. He'll take off.
He goes on the first pitch. Rosario's throw, the tag, got him at second. Inning over. Well, he went, and the Rockies threw him out. On to the fifth. The pitcher spot coming up against Lincecum. 2-2. Giants tickets plus with all-in pricing, no surprise fees at checkout. StubHub, your ticket to upgrades and more. Cain Lee hits for himself, the pitcher against Lincecum. Inning number 5, 2-2 the score. De La Rosa out after 3 innings. There's a called strike. Lincecum, 91-mile-an-hour fastball. 70th pitch of the night, so he's been fairly efficient. That one right there.
Well, Cain looks like he's built to hit.
But?
Or be a fullback.
He does. He's a big, strong kid. That one is popped up to right field. One away.
Well, time to log on to csnbayarea.com and decide the player of the game. Your vote counts. Winner will be revealed during Giants postgame live. Follow the action on the diamond like never before with enhanced Bloomberg stats and much, much more. Giants in game live on csnbayarea.com right now. Log on and vote.
Now, I didn't play in the band. What instrument is that?
Tuba.
That's a tuba?
Yeah.
I thought tubas were bigger than that.
Well, that was like, this is like an alto tuba.
Oh, okay. So they're different kinds of tubas?
Yeah, but they're tubas. Oh, yeah.
Here's a ball hit foul.
You can't have an oompa band without one of those. That's your oompa right there.
I didn't know you could bring a tuba into the ballpark.
I didn't either. You realize what you could stuff in that thing? 2 cases of beer.
Tell that to the Stanford band. That's been a trick for 40 years. Up and away, 1-1.
You could put your laundry in there. Did you ever hear the story about Bob Uecker when he was with the Cardinals in the World Series? They were in St. Louis and taking batting practice, and he sensed that the team was a little tight. So I guess they were going to have like the University of Missouri marching band do the anthem. So they were all there assembled, and they had all their band instruments there at their seats, and they went up to get a burger. He went over there and pulled the tuba up during batting practice, and he gets out there. Now he's catching fly balls. He's shagging fly balls with the tuba. Yeah, And he's making all the plays, and the plays going crazy. Hitters in the batting cage are hitting fly balls to where he is because they want to see him make a play. And he does this thing, catches 10, 15 fly balls, and the place is going crazy. Then he puts the tuba back. They go on to win the ball game, and about a week later, he gets a bill for all the dings that they had to pound out of the tuba that were caused by the fly balls.
Well worth it.
That's why they put guys in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And Bob Uecker's certainly a Hall of Famer for many reasons, but that's one of them.
Great story. I saw him on the field tonight. They were having all kinds of great Brewers back in Milwaukee. Big ceremony before the game. They're playing the Reds tonight at Miller Park. Charlie Blackmon in a little battle here with Lincecum, 2-2. When do we go to Milwaukee? When do we see Uke?
Well, if Dwayne Kuiper was here, he could tell you right in a heartbeat.
He's got it memorized. August. We're there for 3 days. New York, Milwaukee, Kansas City road trip.
It's this gamer babe's first game. Well, welcome to the club.
Happy birthday, Kipe. Now that's launching that one out a little early.
Yeah, but that's all right.
6 days away. That one hit to center. Pagan, 2 down. Lincecum never gave in there and got the leadoff man, Blackmon. Ball 1 to Drew Stubbs.
80 pitches now for Lincecum. He's pitched well.
Well, he would like to get through Stubbs here, leave Tulowitzki for next inning. Give himself a chance to go 1-2 innings more. Well, we've seen the radar readings on the fastball dip down a little bit as the game has gone on, but I think he's still got pretty good life on that pitch. He's commanding it well.
Yeah, he keeps getting closer and closer to where he needs to be every start. A couple starts ago, yeah, that's as low as I've seen him in a while. I mean, he was really shook up in an outing that he had in Cincinnati where he went 4 1/3, gave him 6 hits, 8 runs. It was probably one of the worst starts in his career.
Curveball, bounce to third, but foul.
And he was just discouraged because, I mean, you know, look, they always tell you leave the game at the ballpark, don't take it home. It's a long season, but it's never been easy for him to do that when he's been involved in a loss. And he just feels like he lets his teammates down in it. And he really has a major league hangdog walking out of a clubhouse. But he and Brighetti started putting back the pieces in his last outing against the Mets. I mean, he pitched well. And he's carried into tonight much better.
Strikes out, Stubbs swinging. So a very good inning. Lincecum's retired 7 in a row. Big boys coming up for the Giants in the last of the 5th, a 2-2 game.
is brought to you by the Solar Company. Not just any solar company, the Solar Company. Switch to solar and save.
Beautiful Friday night in San Francisco, 2-2, last of the fifth, and the Giants have Pence, Posey, Sandoval coming up against the Rockies. Colorado went ahead 2-0 in the third. Last of the third, the Giants answered and tied the game, and Pence knocked in the first run. Of course, that was against the starter De La Rosa. And the Rockies are telling us it was lower back tightness that got De La Rosa out of this game. So now it's Cain against Pence. A tight little slider for ball one. Pence is 1 for 2 with that single. Also scored the second run, the tying run.
Ooh,
good cut there.
He just missed that one. I mean, that was 94 middle in at the knees, and he opened up looking for it. And that's just power on power right there. And if ever the two should meet, he's got the ability to hit the Coke bottle. He really does. But you need a good fastball to supply the power.
He almost launched that one. Now a slider. Strike two swinging. Cain may have seen that swing on the fastball and said, I don't know if I want to throw that one again.
Smart.
One, two. Fastball struck him out swing. He went up with the fastball.
Well, that's what Rosario called for, the elevator right above the hands. And he put it in a perfect spot. Second strikeout now for Cain. Wants it right there above the hands, middle in, and it is right to the glove. Beautiful.
Here's Posey, who went 0 for 2. Did not hit the ball hard against De La Rosa. Takes a fastball right there, strike one. Well, Posey asking the umpire about that one, but I think that was right in there. Now a swing and a miss. That fastball, strike two.
Same location. He got Pence on strike three. And now he's talking about Cain's got a straight fastball. Well, if you're able to spot it to the four corners of the strike zone, that's not going to hurt you ever.
Posey in an 0-2 hole. And the slider off of Cain, rolls away. Cain doesn't have a play. Well, Posey will take it. He needs a hit. That's 3 at bats where Buster just has not hit the ball hard tonight, but that time he got a hit out of it.
Just off the glove, and it just became a foot race between Posey and Cain. Could Cain get to the ball before Posey got to the bag? Big hanging curveball. He had him at 4-7 with a big swing. It's not bad for a catcher.
No, not Billy Hamilton, but not bad. Pablo Sandoval takes ball one. Pablo batting left-handed now, which has been his stronger side. He hits that one right off the end of the bat, and I think he broke the bat.
That's a good changeup right there, and we saw Cain try to throw a 3-2, and that's when he walked Pagan with 2 outs, and here he throws it a 1-0 count, so he'll throw it at any time, not afraid to. And it's a good one.
Well, Pablo didn't like the new one. He got dirty tonight.
He likes that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big enough to share.
Friends for life.
Well, I hope they were already friends before that.
Well, there's a lot there. They could feed like 3 more, I think.
Bring in the next section. Yeah, so good.
It does look good.
It does. 1-1. Good swing, foul ball.
You know what Pablo's thinking? I want to see that one again.
Get ready in the Cove. There's a little bit of wind blowing out toward McCovey Cove, but mostly just a calm night, which usually those are the nights where there's a little more carry. 1-2. And a bouncer softly hit. The second baseman Rutledge will flip to first. Posey moves to second, so he's in scoring position now, but 2 down. And it'll be another 2 out run scoring chance for Michael Morse.
Well, he seems to thrive on him. I mean, he was the difference in this game. He tied the ball game up back in the 3rd inning in a beautiful 2-strike opposite field single that scored Hunter Pence. That really was a good at bat. He and Jorge De La Rosa just locked horns and had a nice battle before he beat him on a 3-2 curveball.
Got that average up to 290. It looks to me like he's ready to get hot again. And not like he'd gone real cold, but those last 2 games against the Nationals, his swings were good. We haven't seen a home run from Michael Morse in a while.
Average back up to 290.
He took a big rip there on a high fastball. Lincecum watching. Tie game. Catcher Rosario pretty demonstrative there towards his pitcher Cain Lee. Posey's the runner at second. And a fastball drilled to right center field. Another 2-out hit for Morse. And it skips by Stubbs. Posey comes in to score. Morse is still rumbling around second. Heading for third. He's in there.
Light up this crowd, Michael Morse. And he looks like a kid playing baseball for his first Little League summer. He is having fun. Another opposite field. They set the target in. It leaks out over the middle of the plate, and he's not greedy. He goes to right. And here's where Stubbs gets burned. He tries a short hop to 2-hop. It gets by him, and Morse was off the races. And let's watch the big man rumble. That's 6'5", 255 coming at you.
Thank goodness he got rid of the helmet. Picked up an extra mile an hour.
Well,
so did they give him a? Well, they gave him a double, and they charged Stubbs with an error. Swing and a miss by Hector Sanchez. Giants have gone ahead 3-2.
I am too fast. Yes, you are.
Oh boy. It's not just the crowd that loves Michael Morse.
Yeah, he's fun to play with.
What a difference maker for the Giants. 3-2, Giants lead. And the change-up, Rosario doing everything he can to keep that one around home plate.
Yeah, very nice play there.
He did. I cannot remember a player who's gotten better than he has on defense.
Well, when we first saw him, I was afraid he's going to hurt himself. And Jerry Weinstein has done a great job with him.
He was an out-and-out disaster defensively. And he's turned himself into a good defensive catcher. Good cut, foul ball.
That's what hard work will do for you.
Yeah. He should get some credit for it.
Okay. Talking it over with Pence.
Yeah. Good point. Those two can talk.
And it will be a passionate conversation.
Victor has a hit. He's 1 for 2. A hit here will knock in another run. 1-2 from Cain. Strike 3 called. Rosario just dropped it. That one was right there. He'll throw to first for the putout, and the inning is over. But Michael Morse, another big hit for the Giants, who now lead Colorado 3-2.
To just put them on top. And a quick note on Michael Morse. He's been wearing glasses. Here's the deal. They're actually non-prescription. He wears contacts, but guys, he was having so much trouble with dryness in his eyes. He kept using drops during a game. That head athletic trainer Dave Greshner told him, hey, check out if your glass company will sell you clear glasses. He did it. His eyes are great. They feel great. No more dryness. And look at the result. He's hitting it away, guys.
Thank goodness. He's got the rec spec look going now. Dave Greshner, good suggestion. What do you think that conversation is like?
Well, I don't think they're talking about the World Cup. I think they're talking about Michael Morse's glasses.
Yeah, I think with Bumgarner, the no World Cup is probably a good guess. We will see Bumgarner on the mound in this series. He's got Juan Nicasio on Sunday. Well, this is a big challenge here for Lincecum. Third time through, heart of the order, 1-run lead now. Tulowitzki taking ball 1 and up to 85 pitches. Tulo has walked and popped out. He popped out with the bases loaded. Fastball, foul ball.
He is not afraid to throw the bat head.
Well, Coors Field skews the numbers, but he's one of the best hitters in the game.
Oh, no doubt. One of the best all-around players.
Yep. Right now, he's the MVP in the National League. If you talk to folks. Playing shortstop, putting up those numbers. Very close, but low. Ball 2.
Well, and the National League applauds a complete player, and he is that. And you always wonder what type of numbers that he would have now if he had as many big injuries as he's had.
Yeah.
He's really had to deal with some severe injuries. Taking big bites out of years. And that's frustrating because you have a player that can put up big numbers. Well, you can't do that on a disabled list.
There really been only 3 years. I mean, he's been a big leaguer since 2006. There's a swing and a miss. Strike two. High fastball. But there have been only 3 seasons where you'd say, yeah, he played the full year. Out of 7 full big league seasons. There's Morneau on deck. He knocked in the only 2 Rockies runs. Tulowitzki leading off here in the 6th. Giants are now ahead 3-2 after another Michael Morse run scoring hit. Three-2. Hard but foul. Look out.
Look at the gloves. He's ready. Old first baseman.
Next time.
Well, you know what he wants.
Yeah.
He was that close. Now, he might not see another pitch for like about 2 innings because he's going to be staring at that baseball.
He'll be telling his friends tomorrow. That was that. You got a Pat Burrell jersey on.
Why not? That was a true heart.
Another 3-2. Strike 3 called. Fastball at the knees. Tulowitzki does not agree. That looked pretty good.
That was right into Mike Winter's zone. He's a low ball guy. And they set the target wide, and look at Sanchez. Then he moved the glove. So that's 5 strikeouts, and this is the first called strike 3 for Lincecum. And that's a big first out. Lincecum's on 91 pitches right now, and he's facing the heart.
So here's Morneau. Ball 1 with that fastball. You love these. I mean, even when he's missing with most of these fastballs, though, they're right where he wants to throw them. Now that pitch to Tulowitzki, that's exactly what he was trying to do. He bounces that one in front of home plate.
Hey, Tigger's here on Orange Friday. Fits right in.
Yeah, he put that on before coming to the game. This will be perfect tonight. It's Friday the 13th. It's a full moon. Not like the folks here really need any of that.
No, you don't need to line the stars up. They do all right every day.
Morneau a little quick with that swing. So it's 2-1. High fastball, foul ball.
He hit a base hit earlier in the 3rd inning on a hang and break ball at the belt. He hit a single, but it was a run producing single.
Against the shift. Giants have Hicks again stationed well out into right field. That one is low, maybe the splitter.
That was the split, and Morneau did not bite.
Morneau, that first hit, see where Hicks is and Pence, he hit it right in between the second baseman and the right fielder. Right in between the defense. Full count, 3-2. Slider struck him out swinging.
Good one. They set up in the outside corner and winds up being on the inside corner, but again, late snap, and that's strikeout number 6.
Well, Tuesday, June 24th, Italian Heritage Night, presented by Gelati Construction. Special event package, including a Giants Italian Night wine stopper, the pregame party. Giants taking on the Padres. You need the special event ticket, sfgiants.com/special events. 2 down for Rosario. Slider, swing and a miss, strike 1.
Juan Gutierrez is headed down to the Giants bullpen. The pitch count has determined that. That was number 98, but Lincecum's got it going right now.
He has retired 9 in a row. Rosario went after that high fastball.
Every time I see him with the elevator fastball request, I cringe because of Rosario's ability to hit the high pitch. He is just a good high ball hitter.
We've seen him do it against Lincecum in the past. And not just Lincecum. Pitch number 100, trying to get through the 6th. 0-2. just barely tapped back toward the pitcher. Lincecum, hey, Buster, you handle this one. 10 in a row retired by Lincecum, pitching beautifully tonight. Tigger loves it. That could be it for Lincecum. Spectacular start for him.
He was fantastic.
And the Giants lead 3-2.
Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers, offering business and personal insurance, employee benefits, and financial services. Visit us at hefins.com and by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
Now, how did the Moon know it was Orange Friday in San Francisco?
That's a good call.
What a spectacular sight that is. Just rising up above the East Bay Hills, out across San Francisco Bay on Friday the 13th. The Moon, a little better sight than that, I have to say. But Orange Friday, and the Giants have a 3-2 lead after the Rockies had gone ahead 2-0 in this game. Brandon Hicks will come up against Cain still in the game. De La Rosa left with back tightness after 3 innings. The Colorado starter. Cain's been in since, and the Giants got the 2 runs against him, or the run against him, the go-ahead run last inning. Hicks swings and misses at that slider. Been a tough game for Hicks at the plate. A couple of strikeouts swinging with runners on base. Another slider.
Yeah, those are 2 quality sliders. Definitely not hanging anything to Hicks. And when you're struggling, it always seems that you get nothing but corner pitches to try and do something with.
Oh, 2. Fastball, and that one missed badly. Well, Brandon Hicks, I mean, he's done a lot of great things for this team. He has played excellent defense. He's turned the double play as well as I think anybody in the league. He's hit with power. Gutierrez continues to get loose, and I think we'll see him in the 7th.
Yeah, I agree.
A hanging breaking ball that was up out of the strike zone. Hicks tried to hold up and couldn't do it. So 1 out.
Just a backup slider with not much on it. You know you're having a rough night when you're swinging at those.
And that is where you start to think that the strikeouts start to pile up a little bit. The Giants are okay with the batting average not being real robust with Hicks, but the lack of contact now is starting to really crop up. A little dribbler, and Cain throws it away into the bullpen, and Adrianza can run. to second. Headed toward third. He will stop. Why did he stop?
Flannery put the stop sign on when he made the big turn.
Wow.
He said, no, not worth the risk. He also, Flannery, an old infielder, he knew there was nobody at second. So with the big turn, he knew he could get back to second. But right at the last instant, he just decided, you know what, it's not worth the wait or the risk.
Bruce Bochy's coming out to argue something. Well, and maybe that was it. Almost like he was off stride there.
Well, maybe Lincecum thought he didn't touch the bag, but he got back.
Bochy and Flannery are talking about something.
Well, I think they're talking about an interference.
Yeah.
And that might get him another 90 feet. And this is something they can go back and review.
Well, Bochy wants him to look at it, apparently. No, I guess not.
Big turn here.
Maybe he was wondering if there was contact at first base. But Morneau.
Well, if there was obstruction, that could be something they could call. Did the ball hit a bullpen guy? Nope.
Yeah, that might be what Bochy was asking about.
So apparently it is as it should be.
Well, now Colvin hitting for Lincecum. And a first pitch hack at a fastball, fouled one, and that got a piece of Rosario and the umpire.
Right in the mask of Mike Winters, and that put him right on his heels.
And the catcher concerned. He's got sympathy. Colvin trying to add to a one-run Giants lead, 3-2 here in the sixth. Adrianza, the runner at second, he's got very good speed. High fastball, strike two.
Yeah, anytime you see Colvin swinging a high fastball, that's a good thing. He's a good high ball hitter.
He's hit well here at home.
Yeah, 294.
And that one home run, of course, his first home at bat. Hit one into San Francisco Bay.
It's pretty cool.
Oh-2. Another high fastball, too high.
So what's the old saying? You want to make a splash? Well, how about a splash hit?
That was the ultimate splash. He's got a lot of power. He's hit a lot of extra base hits. He has not hit a home run since then. He's due. Canley looking back to Adrianza. That one popped up into right center. He might have just missed that one. The center fielder Blackman, or Stubbs rather, calling off Blackman. 2 down. In front of this packed house on Friday night, Giants and the Rockies starting a weekend series, the final series of this 10-game homestand. Giants swept the Mets, lost 3 of 4 to the Nats. Trying to get a win against Colorado. Pagan a chance to knock in a run. He's got a double and a walk in this game. Fastball, strike one.
Stay in that outside corner to Angel Pagan. He will burn you to left field. And with Adrianza's speed, be no contest. Remember, there's not much arm with Dickerson in left. Best arm for these Rockies is in center.
Yeah, that was interesting. Tulowitzki trying to look out. That one came very high and tight. Pagan with a little glare out to Tommy Cain.
Now, that was 94-mile-an-hour cut, and that thing was really working its way into him. His hand came down the side of that thing, and I don't know how he got out of the way of that. And there's the stank eye you're talking about. Moderate dose, nothing too severe.
There's more where that came from if you do it again. 1-1. Tulowitzki was trying to give some defensive instruction to that left fielder you were talking about. Pagan almost like he's aiming for left field there. Foul ball.
That's a good changeup, boy. I mean, that's the one thing about Cain. He's got 3 strikeout pitches. I mean, you saw the sliders and how effective they were against Brandon Hicks. His changeup, he's had swing and misses at that. Swing and misses at the fastball. 3 swing and miss pitches.
One and two. Kind of amazing the Yankees didn't have room on their 40-man roster to protect this guy with the arm he has. Changeup. There's that swing and miss changeup. Strike 3. So the Giants do not score. John will come back over and join Mike here on the television side for the 7th. Gutierrez coming in. 3-2 Giants.
Summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Let's take a look at the line score for the Rockies. 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 errors. The Giants 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors. Tim Lincecum outstanding tonight. Great outing, 6 innings strong, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Retired the last 10, and he is right where he needs to be, folks. A lot of hard work, and he's finding that rhythm. Tonight is a huge plus for Tim Lincecum. Michael Morris, the difference maker, 2 2-out RBIs, and that's where the Giants have the lead. That is our Toyota game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Right now, when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Juan Gutierrez is going to take the ball now from Tim Lincecum and try to protect this 1-run lead. 28th time he's come in, 1-1 with a 2.73 ERA. 24 strikeouts against 5 walks and 29 2/3. 3-2 Giants, top of the 7th, and once again, here's John Miller.
All right, Mike, and Dickerson, who has flied out to right center and flied out deep to left to lead off against Gutierrez on a full moon Friday the 13th.
Orange Friday.
And it's an orange moon right now, and it's full, a full orange moon. Big night for Michael Morris. I don't know if you're superstitious, but from what I've seen, if it's Friday the 13th, I'm hitting Morris somewhere high in the lineup.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Write that down, will you?
It's a jinx for the other team. And it's been bad news for the other team on a lot of other days of the week as well.
Put that in the scout report.
the inside.
By the
2-0.
way, when's the next full moon Friday night in the baseball season?
I don't know.
I think it's like 11 years from now or something.
Is it?
I don't know. Friday the 13th? It could be.
I didn't know of your lunar fascination and your lunar knowledge.
I didn't either.
2-0. And ball 3. Tim Lincecum issued 2 walks in his 6 innings. And just the 2 runs that the Rockies got in that 3rd inning. A rally started by the opposing pitcher, De La Rosa, who hit a single. That's a strike. Got the low strike on the outside. Dodgers still leading 2-1 over Arizona. Last of the 6th in LA. There's Jeremy Affeldt heading down to the Giants bullpen. Not heading down there anymore. He's there. Rutledge, the right-handed hitter, followed by LeMahieu, another righty, after Dickerson. 3-1 offering. Out of play off to the left into the 2nd deck. 3-2. It's not just Friday the 13th and a full moon, a big full orange moon right now, but it's a fireworks night. It's also a great night for Major League Ball here in the Bay Area. The Oakland Athletics are simultaneously playing the Yankees across the bay, and I was told that that's a sellout. So we'll have somewhere close to 80,000 tickets sold for Major League Baseball on the same night here in the Bay Area. Now the pitch. Foul back to the screen. So we've done a little research about the next full moon on a Friday the 13th.
Yes.
What was your guess again? How many years?
11.
Well, that's if this was, what was that game?
Yeah.
The Price is Right. You'd win because you didn't go over. The next one is 35 years from now.
Oh.
August the 13th of 2049. There's Morris. And that's a pretty good rebound by Gutierrez after falling behind Rutledge. He comes back to get him.
Yeah, it really is. In a 1-run ball game, that leadoff hitter is so important.
Look at that moon.
It's fantastic.
That's a great. I love that shot. Oh, some people are howling.
Yeah, they're howling. It's starting to happen, John.
Here is Rutledge and a called strike. Rutledge is flied out to center and struck out. Rockies bullpen is also busy. This guy Tommy Canley, what an acquisition for Colorado. That's off the foot. Ouch. Oh man.
Oh, you're right about Canley. I mean, he threw 3 strong innings tonight, struck out 5 Giants. Had a walk, couple of hits, and he stands to be the losing pitcher. Take a look at where it got him, right on the ankle.
I hope he's okay. That hurts.
The first time I did that to myself, John, it was like going to get something to eat out of the refrigerator at 2 in the morning, half asleep, open up the door and having a bowling ball drop on your toe. That's what it felt like. You're not expecting it. I mean, you're concentrating on hitting the ball. You're not thinking about intense pain on your foot or your toe or your shin. I mean, it is a rude awakening.
2 strikes to count. And he takes that high fastball. Well, we're glad to see. Seems to be okay. Maybe doesn't feel that great, but still in there. Sandoval over near the foul line at third base, trying to protect against the possible extra base hit here. The Giants holding a 1-run lead in the 7th. 1 out, nobody on. Strike three called.
93 two-seam paint. And that is a rough at bat. They set up in the inside corner. Pow! Sits it right there. Sticks a nice reception there by Sanchez. And Mike Winter says, take a hike.
I guess it's bad form if the umpire says take a hike. Meet.
Well, I'm just assuming he's going to say that.
2 down and a foul by LeMahieu. Batting with 2 down and nobody on. He has struck out, and on a check swing he bounced one to Buster at first. What was your conclusion on that ground ball? Should it have been called a foul ball? Buster gloved it just in front of the bag.
Yeah, it was really close. I mean, when I saw the replay, I think that they called it right. I think that it was fair, but yeah, that's why you have replay, right?
But not usable on a fair or foul call from home to first or home to third.
Oh no, that was just for our use and interpretation. It's got to get to the bag before it can be reviewed.
1-1 the count to LeMahieu. Buster did a great job in that play, just to hustle in and get to it before it reached the bag and before it went foul. Right center field out into the wide open spaces. Nothing but room for Pagan. 3 up, 3 down here in the 7th. 7th inning stretch time. Friday the 13th under a full moon. Pence, Posey coming up. There it is. We actually put a camera on the Hubble just for this game tonight. Some people use a blimp. We use the Hubble. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. The Giants leading 3-2, and the Rockies make the pitching change and go to the tall, lanky right-hander, Chris Martin. And he's newly acquired since the Giants last saw the Rockies.
11 strikeouts in 10 2/3. They say he's a hard thrower, so this will be our first chance to see Chris Martin. Just 15 base runners in 10 2/3.
So he takes over for Canely, and Tommy Canely was pretty impressive in 3 innings, and yet the Giants managed to scratch out a run against him. Knocked in by Michael Morse. The guy that Morse knocked in was Buster Posey, who reached on an infield hit. So here's Hunter Pence. He's knocked in a run tonight with a single. That was back in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 3. Giants 3, Rockies 2. The Rockies have only 3 hits in the game. At the knees for a strike. Buster Posey on deck. Pablo Sandoval due up 3rd in the inning. This guy's tall, isn't he?
6'7", 175 pounds. Wow. Just 33 days of big league service.
You think is that possible? He's 175?
No. That was when he signed.
Out of play off to the right.
When he was 18, maybe he was 6'7", 175. They're having fun out in the bleachers. Oh, yeah. Panda fans everywhere.
Giants fans enjoy themselves. And it's an Orange Friday. The park festooned with orange from one side to the other. And the slider in the dirt and right through the legs of Rosario. 2-2. Giants who began the night with an 8.5 game lead in the National League West over the Dodgers. 11.5 over the Rockies. As Rosario's out conferencing with Martin on the mound. This is an important series for the Rockies, who just won their last 2 games after spiraling downward, heading toward the abyss. They've lost 14 out of 17, but they won the last 2 from Atlanta before coming here. And they need to do some damage here if they're going to make any inroads.
Ooh.
Pence, that ball glancing off the bat, foul, and he almost got a hit.
Little heat seeker coming up and running right into him, and it looked like it just hit the knob of the bat. So that's one where you think you're going to get hit. You know you're going to get hit, and when you hear a sound, you go, "Did I just get hit?" It is a weird feeling.
Another slider in the dirt. It's 3-2. Pence with a .294 batting average. Pence has a .367 on base average. There's Posey out on deck. Three runs, 7 hits for the Giants. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 2 errors for Colorado. That is a fair ball headed down the right field line. It would go through into the corner. Blackman digs it out. Pence to second, standing with a double.
Well, that's exactly why you can't overload one side of the field on him. And you can't put a lot of weird defensive shifts on him, because he goes line to line. This is an off-speed pitch. Stays inside and just rakes this. Morneau had none chance at first base to flag this thing down. It was just going to be a matter of how many he was going to get. Was he going to get 2 bases or was he going to get 3 bases? So a stand-up double and a great 3-2 at bat.
Now Posey. Buster is flied out to shallow right center. Grounded softly to third. And LeMahieu threw him out on an outstanding play. Then he had an infield hit his last time. Strike 1. Pablo Sandoval out on deck. Dodgers leading 2-1 over Arizona. They're in the last of the 7th at Dodger Stadium on the out-of-town scoreboard. A ball and a strike. You see how the Rockies are playing for Buster Posey. Way off the left field line. Dickerson, the left fielder, over into the gap toward left center. That's a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Buster. With nobody out, a runner at second. In the 7th inning, the Giants' lead is only 1, 3-2. So after the leadoff double, especially this part of the batting order with the big hitters out, really pointing toward getting this run home. Buster to the right side, just foul. Just fighting it off the fists, and he almost took that one in for extra bases.
A little jam shot right off the fist, and it almost was a thing.
For a moment, I thought he had the magic wand do there, but
yeah,
no.
It was close.
I guess that only works when Kipe is here.
He is the master of the magic wand do.
1-2. Pence breaks for third, and Tulowitzki wanted to throw to third, but LeMahieu was not covering. But he had time to regroup and still throw out Posey because Buster's just not a very fast runner.
Well, and Tulowitzki's got a cannon too. So I mean, he set his feet to third. Once he turned his feet, and watch the lower body, he sets his feet to third. Once you do that, you're thinking, hey, Posey's got a chance to beat this out. But then you remember, well, he's the Polish rifle. Little shuffle step and unloads, and it's not even close. I mean, you could do this if you got his kind of arm. But it was a productive out.
So 1 out. Pence now at third. Here is Pablo. And the infield comes in for the Rockies. They desperately want to keep the Giants from getting this run. Pablo 1 for 3 in the game. Foul. Second deck off to the left. Where was LeMahieu going? I know the ball was hit to his left. He started in that direction, but he didn't come within, what, 30 feet of the ball.
But you know what, though? I mean, that's a guy who's played a lot of second base this year, not a lot of third base. When Nolan Arenado went on the disabled list, he came from second to third, and those are the type of plays you're vulnerable. You make a break, and you can't get back.
Just a little bit low.
That was a good pitch.
1-1.
And for a third baseman, once you come a foot or a step or two away from the bag, you're not going to be able to get back and cover that base. If Arenado was at third base, Pence is out by 5 to 10 feet.
1 ball, 1 strike to Pablo. He's had 3 sacrifice flies this year. That is just foul. And he broke another bat. Pablo's broken a bat in each of his last 2 plate appearances. That boy brings about 16 bats out for him to choose from.
I think that's a good decision. Well, as hot as Pablo's been, he breaks a bat. It's like saying goodbye to an old friend.
Well, he broke his favorite the last time up there. Now he's apparently broken his second favorite. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Rockies conferencing again. Tulowitzki was out there along with Rosario. And the pitcher, Martin. Pablo trying to knock in this run. The Giants ahead by 1. Trying to give them a little breathing room here. Giants bullpen is quiet after a strong 7th inning from Gutierrez. In the dirt, and here comes Pence. And he scores on the wild pitch, as it turns out. 4-2 Giants. And finally one that Rosario could not block.
I mean, Chris Martin's pitching for the strikeout, and he really pulls down hard on this breaking ball. But when it gets out in front of home plate, I mean, it's anybody's guess what it's going to do. And Rosario, who's done a nice job tonight blocking balls, cannot make a play on this one.
Two and 2 to Pablo. That one into right field. Rutledge made a dive for it. Pablo has his second hit. I think he should get the RBI. So the runner was at third. He scored on a wild pitch. But now you got the hit. You should still get the RBI.
Well, I think Pablo would agree with you. Not a bad breaking ball right there, middle in. right above the thigh, but as hot as this guy is right now, I mean, that is the magic wand-do. He's working just past the outstretched arm of Rutledge. So Jim Wright, the pitching coach for the Rockies, out to try and calm Martin down a bit.
Well, Martin had been pitching great.
And Jeremy Affeldt heads back to the Jazz bullpen. He's going to pitch the 8th inning.
He threw a lot of warm-up pitches during the 7th inning, so it won't take him long to get warm. Here comes Michael Morris. I was looking at the wrong column on Martin. That's the 7th run he's allowed in 11 innings, so he hadn't been so great just yet. 1 ball and no strikes. Morris has walked, and 2 times he's had a 2-out RBI hit. Well, that's a low strike. Martin back here in the big leagues for the 2nd time this year. He was up in late April into mid-May the first time. Back to the screen.
That's exactly where he wanted to put that 93-mile-an-hour fastball, on the hands. And I would imagine you're going to see another one right there, maybe higher.
1-2 the count. And that is the book on Michael Morris in the dirt.
They may have tried a little front door cutter or a front door slider. See more and more guys throw that pitch. It's dangerous.
Shot of ball, the runner at first. Big hole open on the right side of the infield with Morneau on the bag with him. That one goes right to the second baseman. There's one. Tulowitzki gets the double play. But the Giants add a run. On to the 8th. 4-2 Giants.
Big play the Togo's way. And yesterday, Angel Pagan provided the big Togo's play when he took away extra bases from Jason Worth, a 4th inning pearl, and that is worthy of our Togo's big play the Togo way. Tim Hudson loving it, and so did 41,000.
Pagan back out there into center field for the 8th inning, and Michael Morris is removed for Juan Perez as the Giants make a defensive change. Perez, fleet-footed, strong-armed outfielder. Michael Morse had an excellent night with the bat, knocking in 2 runs for the Giants in a game they lead by 2, and with 2 different 2-out RBI hits. Here's Brandon Barnes to pinch hit for Martin. 4-2, the Giants ahead. And that's too high. The breaking ball missing. Gutierrez retired the Rockies in order in the 7th inning.
Probably see Gutierrez pitch to Barnes and then bring in Affeldt to face the left-handed hitting Blackman, who's in the on-deck circle.
On the outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Gutierrez is in his 28th game of the year. 30 2/3 innings pitched now. Only 21 hits allowed. And the great thing that I think would be a surprise to a lot of the teams that have had him in the past, he's only walked 5 in 30 2/3. Strike 2 call.
Paint that outside corner.
He's had 25 strikeouts, 5 walks, 1 hit batsman. So he's allowed only 27 base runners in his 30 2/3 innings. Pretty good. That's the whip, right?
Yeah.
Low whip. Adding the walks, the hit batsman together, and a ratio between those and the innings pitched. Not this time. We got 2 calls on the outside, not this one.
Just about a baseball a little wider than the previous 2 pitches. And Mike Winters, the plate umpire, says no. Close though. Nice try.
Not a bad pitch with 2 strikes, huh?
Good pitch. Go back right out there again.
Struck him out. He went back out there, but with a little break to it. 1 away. And that will do it here for Gutierrez. 4-2 Giants. The left-hander Affeldt is coming in with 1 out, nobody on. We'll be right back.
Area is brought to you by NASCAR Returns June 20th through 22nd for the Toyota Safe Mart 350 only at Sonoma Raceway.
In the shadows of the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge, we're at AT&T Park. 4-2 the Giants are leading here in the 8th inning. Pitching change for the Giants. When it's time for a change, think speedy oil change and auto service, your oil change, tune-up and repair experts. And the change in relief of Gutierrez, the veteran lefty Jeremy Affeldt, and his numbers. Mike, not too bad. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. He's had a great first half. And remember, he started the season on the disabled list. He's been a workhorse since coming back. He's faced Charlie Blackmon 4 times. Blackmon 1 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. And with Affeldt, you're going to see a fastball that's low to mid 90s, more lows than mids, big curveball, and a split.
And Affeldt himself, a former Colorado Rocky. On the outside, a beauty for a called strike. Affeldt this year, and like many years in his career, has actually had better success against right-handed hitters than lefties. The right-handers hitting 182, the lefties 257. A ball and a strike. He has that cross dominance. And that's why Bruce Bochy will not hesitate to use him for a full inning. He's not merely a specialty kind of a pitcher. Machi is up in the bullpen now. Curveball, strike 2. The Rockies bullpen also going. There's Machi.
Whoops.
He's got it. A fumble, and he has recovered. That's fine. They don't have anything like the NFL, like too many men on the field penalty in baseball, do they?
It's a good thing, John. Much more laid back in baseball.
Oh, he had an extra guy. It was just the one extra guy. Had his own baseball. Out number 2. Let's go downstairs. Here's Amy G.
All right, John and Mike, I got some help tonight. We've got Colin and Nils. Colin's 9, Nils is 7. Who's your favorite Giant?
Michael Morris.
Who's your favorite Giant?
Buster Posey.
Oh, we figured it out. Buster Posey. All right, time for our fan photo contest. Hashtag CSN Bay Area fan photo. Tweet it to us. Put your picture up. Who's our winner tonight, Colin?
Valerie James and her family from Visalia.
Are they a good-looking group?
Yep.
All right, tweet it to us.
Good work. 4-2 Giants. Machi is in to face Stubbs with Tulowitzki lurking in the on-deck circle. Coming up, and here is Machi. Drew Stubbs, by the way, for the season hitting .404 against left-handed pitching. 1 ball and no strikes, and so Bochy, all these guys are fresh, and he with a 2-run lead brings in his 3rd pitcher of the inning, matching up with each one of the Rocky hitters, lefty, righty, lefty. Got the righty against the righty again here. Pablo. He's got it. Fast runner. Got to hurry. Just got him. And the inning is over. Machi does it again. Last of the 8th now. 4-2 Giants. Under the full moon on a Friday the 13th, and the Giants holding a 4-2 lead over the Rockies. 41,258 sellout crowd at AT&T Park. The change for the Rockies. Belial comes in when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and repair experts. Here's Belial with a 5.19 ERA. Sanchez, and it's 0-1.
And with Belial, you're going to see 4 pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, low 90s fastball, but good command both sides of the plate.
Sanchez has a home run against him in 7 career at bats. Hector is 1 for 3 in this game. Right up the first base side, foul.
Not by much.
Chris Siegel, first base umpire, immediately after it passed the bag, signaling foul ball.
Belial in his 9th year at the big league level.
Romo getting ready for the 9th, and the Rockies will be ready for him. They'll have their biggest power hitters up in a row in the 9th. Blew a fastball right by him. That's all for Sanchez. He's 1 for 4.
Time now for our Honda Player of the Game, and we think Tim Lincecum is worthy of that distinction tonight. He was fantastic. Been working hard tonight. He had a good fastball. We even saw him top out velocity-wise at 94, but a good command of the curveball, slider, changeup, and just made a lot of big pitches when he had to. For Lincecum, 6 strong, 3 hits, 2 runs, 6 strikeouts against a couple of walks. He is our Honda Player of the Game.
Brandon Hicks, who has struck out 3 straight times in this one. 1 ball and no strikes. The Rockies in their 9th inning will have Tulowitzki, Morneau, and Rosario. 3, 4, 5 hitters. Coming in a little bit in left, Dickerson. And Hicks is 0 for 4. 2 down. Adrianza. Rockies actually led in this game. They had a 2-run 3rd inning. 2 runs knocked in by Morneau with a 2-out bases loaded single. The only runs allowed by Lincecum. The Giants got those 2 back in the last of the 3rd. Hunter Pence knocked in 1, and with 2 down, Michael Morse knocked in the other, and then Morse knocked in the go-ahead run of the 5th with a 2-out hit. And they added a run in the 7th on a wild pitch. 4-2. Adrianza takes strike one. Adrianza's been walked intentionally, lined out to center, and been safe on a throwing error by the pitcher. The big curve down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gregor Blanco is out on deck, so if Adrianza can keep the inning going, we'll see Blanco. Foul tip. 1-2. Yankees have opened it up across the bay. Big night for baseball here in the Bay Area. And the Yankees have a 7-0 lead over the Athletics. That game is in the last of the 9th inning now. Off his foot. 1-2. The Dodgers lead Arizona 3-2. They're in the last of the 8th now at Dodger Stadium. On the out-of-town scoreboard. There's the Coliseum. You can see it from here, from our vantage point. Did he swing? Yes, he did. The plate umpire, Winters, made the call himself. So a strong inning for Belisle. Now the Rockies, the big guns are coming up. Tulowitzki, Morneau, Rosario with Romo on his way in.
Complete Giants coverage every night on Sportsnet Central and CSNBayArea.com with Giants insider Andrew Baggerly. The home of your San Francisco Giants is Comcast Sportsnet. Tomorrow it's going to be right-hander Christian Bergman on the hill for the Rockies taking on Ryan Vogelsong. So again, tomorrow 1 p.m. pregame live at 12:30.
4-2 Giants as we go to the 9th inning. Romo is in, a pitching change. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up and repair experts.
There you see the numbers for Romo, and his outing yesterday, he had stuff that we haven't seen in about 3 weeks. His fastball was good. It was around 90. His fastball slider combination was devastating. Everything he threw was very, very lively and crisp. He has definitely found the mechanical flaw that had been bugging him the last few weeks.
Tulowitzki leads off against him. And that's a strike. Strikes him with a slider. Tulo 2 for 6 with a single and a homer. Lifetime against Sergio Romo. Romo, 27 innings pitched, only 15 hits allowed, and only 5 walks. Chased and a base hit. A remarkable reach there for Tulowitzki, but he limps. He gets to first base and he pulls up, and he's limping badly. Eric Young, the first base coach over there with him.
You're talking about the injuries that this guy has gone through, and you can imagine him being a bit sensitive about this. He pulled up right before he got to first base. This is one guy they cannot lose.
Well, it looks like they just don't want to take any chances at all with Tulowitzki, even though I don't know if he's been trying to talk his way to stay in there, but they won't take any chances with him.
Could be on the swing where he hurt it. I mean, just really went off the plate about 6 to 8 inches to beat the slider. He's doing good right here, and all of a sudden he gets a biter.
So Tulowitzki gets the hit, but has to leave the game, and Charlie Culberson is the pinch runner for him. Justin Morneau, powerful left-handed hitter, comes up as the possible tying run. Tulowitzki suffered his first really major injury. It was right here in this ballpark a few years back. He chased, and it's 0-1.
So a first pitch challenge changeup, if there is such a thing. The good thing about that changeup and the sinker that he'll throw lefties is he gets ground balls with them when they get put in play.
And it's 0-2.
And that's the sinker. Morneau is hit into 3 double plays.
Rosario on deck. Those are the big hitters for the Rockies, the home run hitters. Posey with the big left-handed slugger up there plays just behind Culberson at first, not on the bag. And he lunged out after that one and managed to fight it off. By the way, it was 2008 when Tulowitzki suffered the left quadriceps tendon tear. He was actually not running the bases. He was coming in for a ground ball at shortstop when he did it, and he missed 7 weeks of that season with that injury. Shallow left center. That's a base hit. Culberson will stop at second. The throw goes in to Pagan.
So 2 hits that were very similar. Both pitches off the way that were down. I mean, really, Tulowitzki with exceptional hitting and reach to get his base hit. We see it again here with Morneau. Although this one was in the strike zone. So just like that, the Rockies have something brewing.
The possible tying runs are on base. And here is Rosario.
And he leads the Rockies in double plays. He's hit into 9 of them.
He's also 1 hit in 9 career at-bats versus Sergio Romo. The Giants bullpen is going to spring into action just in case. 2 men on, nobody out. It's 0-1. George Cantos will start to throw in the bullpen. Giants already have used Gutierrez, Affeldt, and Machi. 1 strike to count. He bunts at it and fouls it back. How about that?
Well, that right there is a concession. He's basically saying, I can't hit this guy. Rosario's got great power. And with 1 swing of the bat, he could put his team ahead. Here, he's, I'm not picking that thing up. I'm going to try and bunt. And once you know it, he gets a hanger.
The left-handed hitting Dickerson on deck. 0-2 the count. The crowd very quiet now. That's way outside. Romo in a tight spot with a 4-2 lead. 2 men on, nobody out. Right there is Pagan. Culberson tagging at second. Pagan's going to throw for him, and this will not be in time. It gets away from Pablo, but it also allowed the possible tying run to move over into scoring position, and it takes away the ground ball double play possibility that, if they'd been able to get it, would have ended the game.
That's a mistake. That's a mistake to allow the back runner to get into scoring position. The throw should have gone into second base. You should have been able to, the concern should have been to keep that force in order.
Well, I guess you could say anything other than throwing him out, that's a bad play. And Pagan knows it. So now base hit could tie the game. And much more productive out than it should have been. And Dickerson, the left-handed hitter, with the right-handed hitting Rutledge on deck. They're going to walk him to set up the double play.
Yeah, they're also going to give Romo a right-hander to face with Josh Rutledge on deck. Now they have one left-handed hitter left on the bench, and that's Wheeler.
And here he comes, Ryan Wheeler. Here comes the fourth wide one. So now the bases are loaded. Wheeler, who was called up from the minor leagues 9 days ago when Carlos Gonzalez went on the disabled list. And he was hitting .253 for the Colorado Sky Sox this year, the Colorado Springs Sky Sox. 3 home runs as a third baseman. Wheeler in the big leagues this year, 3 hits, 12 at bats, including a home run. The middle infield double play depth. And it's 0-1. Off the foot. A lot of sinking action on that one at 83 miles an hour.
Yeah, it looks like he comes that down and in zone pretty good.
Romo has faced Wheeler before, merely 3 times, but he got 3 ground ball outs all 3 times. He's faced him in the past. Culberson at third, Morneau the possible tying run at second, Dickerson at first. Out of play. Strike 2.
Much better location. Take away his power out there. Put middle in and middle. That's where he can hurt you long. He had 1 year in Tulsa where he had 33 home runs in the minor league, so he's got power.
Crowd now trying to rally to the aid of Sergio Romo. 3 men on, 1 man out. No balls, 2 strikes. And here it is. Way outside. 1-2. LeMahieu, a right-handed hitter, is in the on-deck area. There he is, number 9. Up the middle, base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Morneau, and this game is all tied up. He got ahead of Wheeler and then could not put him away. And that's the third hit of the inning for the Rockies.
Well, he got the ground ball, but the ground ball finds a hole. And now Dave Righetti's going to come out and try and calm Romo down. And that is just a defensive swing. You take swing out, you try and go back up the middle, and he executes it perfectly. And you talk about stomach punch at 41,000. That's exactly what Wheeler just did.
So Ryan Wheeler with one of his biggest hits. 2-run pinch hit single that ties the game in San Francisco. And now it also moves the possible go-ahead run into scoring position. Dickerson, the man who was walked intentionally, is now a base hit away from putting the Rockies ahead. And here's LeMahieu to try and get that base hit. LeMahieu 1 for 4 against Romo. And that's a called strike. Four to 4 in the 9th inning. Still only 1 out. Michael McHenry, the backup catcher, has come out of the on-deck circle. And that'll move the runners up.
Now the problem about reaching out and trying to backhand a ball in the dirt, shortstop style, if you're a catcher, is that when it hits the glove, if you don't catch it, it's going to kick away. See him reach out. And as the ball kicks away, an easy move up for both runners. And that's is not only going to move up the runners, but it's going to affect how the defense is going to play. They're going to have to move in.
One ball, one strike. Shallow center. And that's in there, base hit, and the Rockies have gone ahead. Now digging for second. The throw goes into the Pagan kind of airmailed one into the cutoff man, Buster Posey, after the runner at third had stopped, and going to second, LeMahieu.
Those are just mental mistakes. A little off the end of the bat. Another hit that drops out in front of Pagan. He's thinking as he drops the ball, maybe I'm going to throw it home. He overshoots second base, and an easy take a second for LeMahieu. Heads up running.
So 3 runs are in, and Bruce Bochy's going to make the pitching change here with McHenry coming up as the pinch hitter for Belial. And for Sergio Romo, things did not go according to plan. Cantos coming in.
Go Giants. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
The Rockies lead the Giants now 5-4. A stunning turnaround here in the 9th inning. And Sergio Romo is now out of the game. He was able to get only one man out here in the 9th inning, and it's George Cantos on in relief. Remember, Gutierrez, Afeld, and Machi had all been worked, had all appeared in the game in the 7th and 8th innings. So now Cantos comes in, and right now he's just trying to keep the Giants alive. The Rockies have a 1-run lead. The Giants have big hitters coming up. The pitcher's spot, and then Pagan and Pence. Posey due 4th, Pablo 5th in the last of the 9th. But the Rockies with a chance to extend their lead. McHenry, the pinch hitter. The infield is in with runners at 2nd and 3rd. In the dirt, and that one is blocked by Sanchez. And a very nice block on a pitch that was way outside.
Yeah, a breaking ball is a little more predictable than a fastball. This one comes back to you as a catcher. So, hey, good play. I mean, he saves a run right there. Cantos coming in what is a strikeout situation. You saw his strikeout total, 16 strikeouts in 14 innings. And that's what he's pitching for right now.
McHenry in AAA this year hit .313 with 3 homers. He's had 12 games with the Rockies and a .257 average, 2 batted in. Rutledge at 3rd base, LeMahieu at 2nd. That's a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Charlie Blackmon, the leadoff man, is on deck. The closer for the Rockies is the only pitcher throwing now in the Colorado bullpen. That's LaTroy Hawkins. Cantos is up and away with the slider, and the count is 2-1. 84 miles an hour with that one.
Yeah, he's got an open base here, so the one thing you do not want to see Cantos do is just flat out challenge him out of the middle of the play at the belt. Does not have to do it.
Got him chasing. 2-2. McHenry swung at one that was way outside. There's LaTroy Hawkins in the bullpen. The 9th inning will be his now that the Rockies are leading. Well, this big crowd was ready to explode and finish up the joyous night here at the ballpark. The Giants leading going to the 9th inning, but it has not worked out that way. Not yet anyway. The Rockies have turned the game around. Foul tip just off the glove of Sanchez. He's still alive, just barely.
Good hard slider. That's his best strikeout pitch. Snaps it off. 12-6 break. Frustrating for a catcher. Just a little bit of a piece is all that McHenry got. That was all it took to get it out of the glove of Hector Sanchez. Pressure's on Sanchez right here. I mean, he's going to want to try and throw another hard slider. You got to make sure you block it.
Fastball, base hit. Fastball right out over the plate. In to score is Rutledge. Stopping at 3rd is LeMahieu. And he does not get the strikeout. He does not get the out. And it is 6-4 Colorado.
And that's a location mistake. I mean, with an open base, I mean, you have a strikeout situation. And you have every pitch in your mind be a 1-2 pitch. And that thing is right out there, T-ball location. And if you're going to miss, you have to say to yourself, I'm going to miss off the plate away. I'm not going to miss over the middle of the plate. And that is a flat-out mistake. And a very costly error.
So 4 runs have scored for Colorado. Here's the 8th man to bat in the inning, Charlie Blackmon.
This has been, I don't think the Giants have made more mental errors in one inning this year, maybe the last 10 years, than what they've done this year or in this inning here.
Blackman 0 for 3 with a walk. And the fastball in the dirt. Dodgers leading Arizona meanwhile on the out-of-town scoreboard 4-2, top of the 9th inning. Kenley Jansen trying to save that one for LA. Kenley Jansen is having his own problems down there. Arizona's just scored a run. It's now 4-3 with 2 men on. That game's still going. One ball, one strike now. Drew Stubbs on deck. Blackman, a fast runner who has not grounded into a double play this year. The Giants are playing in double play depth. And they'll have to hit it very hard right at somebody to get the double play based on his season up to date. One and one the count. Off the outside. So it's 2-1. All 4 of the runs charged to the record of Sergio Romo in 1/3 of an inning. And the runner at third, LeMahieu, also Sergio's responsibility. Two balls and a strike. Runners at first and third. One out. And it got it picked off. Have to keep an eye on that runner at third. Now breaking for the plate. Adrianza allows him to score.
Well, the way they ran that, you might think it was a planned play. And that's just an old shortstop, Walt Weiss, taking advantage of a young shortstop. I mean, right there, your priority is that runner at third. You cannot let this happen. And that's another mental mistake. And Bruce Bochy is beside himself. I mean, this is like the first day of spring training.
So 2 down and nobody on. And it's a 3-ball, 1-strike count. The 3-1 pitch. And it's 3-2. A little two-seam action on that one at 89 miles an hour.
Had a little anger on it, too.
And a foul ball down to the Colorado bullpen area, where Hawkins continues to warm up for the last of the 9th, and knowing now he's got a 3-run lead with which to work. The Giants, with the pitcher's spot scheduled to lead off, and they have 3 different, or now 2 different left-handed hitters available, Blanco and Brandon Crawford, and then the top of the order, Pagan and Pence. Posey due 4th, Pablo 5th. But it would have looked more promising if it was still 5-4, but it is now 7-4. By the way, Blanco will hit first because Blanco came in when Cantos came in, which we neglected to point out. I beg your pardon. So Blanco, the new left fielder, in the 9th spot. Cantos in the 5th spot. And it's a walk. So Cantos has not been able to retire an actual hitter since entering the game. And we go on. Here's the 9th man to bat in the inning, Drew Stubbs.
You know, it didn't feel like a Friday the 13th full moon game till the 9th inning. It's feeling like a Friday the 13th full moon game right now. I mean, we've seen some weirdness in this inning that I didn't think this team was capable of mentally.
It really has disintegrated for the Giants, and rather shocking based on the way they have played all year long. There goes the runner, and he got the jump, the throw down, and he's safe. Great throw by Sanchez. And Hicks thought they got him.
Yeah, I think Bochy thought they got him too, so they're going to check this one out.
Let's take a look.
Hicks, the reaction he had, yeah, they got him. At least they looked like in that particular angle. Yeah, they got him.
So they're going to consult with the replay command center in New York. This replay review presented by Xfinity. And we'll see if the umpires in New York feel that they've got enough evidence of the replays to overturn this call.
Now they just replayed on the big screen. Umpires are watching it. All right, one more look. This could be a very definitive shot. You got him.
And usually when there's a bounce like that, the guy's glove comes up to play the hop, but it didn't happen that way for Hicks.
Yeah, it's a close play. Once you see all the different views of it, you just don't know if they're going to be convinced in New York when they're replaying it. And as we've come to find out, the longer it goes before they make a decision, the less likely you are to get the decision.
Well, there have been 217 of these calls that have been overturned. 114 either confirmed as being correct or standing, meaning they're just not, they don't have conclusive evidence enough to overturn the calls. And here's the call. Let's see what they've said. Got him. So they said what you said, Mike Krukow. You could be one of those umpires in the command center in New York.
I live to be one of those guys.
Last chance for the Giants, but they're trailing by 3. Last of the ninth. turned on them. A 4-2 lead into the ninth, and now the last of the ninth, and they are trailing 7-4. And LaTroy Hawkins, the veteran right-hander, to try and get the save for Colorado.
See his numbers: 11 saved in 12 opportunities. Nice strikeout. Not a strikeout guy. He's going to give you a low to mid 90-mile-an-hour fastball. He will 2-4 seam it. He's got a really good slider, and that really is his bread and butter. Ryan Wheeler stays in the game. He's at third base. Charlie Culberson is the new shortstop, and DJ LeMahieu heads back to second. There's LeMahieu, so a whole new infield, at least 3/4 of it for the Rockies.
So here's Blanco. And the Giants need base runners right now. Patience is a virtue. Hitting .386 in his last 16 games, raising his average up from 100. It's a called strike as he bluffs the mark.
In this situation too, you're down 3 runs, especially when you were up by 2. This is a big at bat. You want to get a little life in your dugout. Gregor Blanco get on base right here, and he knows it.
That's back out of play. Now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. The last time the Giants saw LaTroy Hawkins, he had a blown save against him. That was back on May the 20th at Coors Field. In that case, the Giants were down by a run in the 9th inning, and they got a run to tie the game, although ultimately then they lost the game anyway. So that's his 1 blown save. Pagan on deck. He laid off. 93-mile-an-hour fastball from the 41-year-old right-hander, who at one time was a Giant. High and foul off the left field line into the crowd.
And Hawkins, like a lot of late inning relievers, working that outside corner.
Blanco entered as part of a double switch in the first half of this inning, trying to get the Giants going here in their last chance, 9th inning. 2-2 the count. Check swing. Did he go? Oh, wow. Yes, says Mark Wegner, the third base umpire. One away.
Yeah, it's one of those could go either way. Wegner says, see you later, I'm getting hungry.
1 out, nobody on, and Pagan will come up. Pagan, who is 1 for 3 with a walk. He's been on base twice. He doubled, starting a 2-run rally in the 3rd. He walked and was then thrown out trying to steal in the 4th. Back out of play. The crowd, this is as quiet as I think we've ever heard it in an Orange Friday game.
Well, I mean, they're just not used to this. I mean, you don't see blowing saves very often, and you certainly don't see 5-run innings very often in the 9th inning. It's a Friday the 13th thing, I'm telling you.
Culberson, and he got him. And Pagan was not moving well on that one. So 2 down in the 9th, and the batter will be Hunter Pence. Pence has had 2 hits tonight. He knocked in the Giants' first run of the game with a single in the 3rd, and he doubled and scored a run in the 7th. He's 2 for 4, hitting .297 for the year. 2 down, nobody on. Strike one. Troy Hawkins, the ageless one, 41 years old, throwing 92, 93 mile-an-hour fastballs here.
And he looks like he's got some years left the way he throws the ball. I mean, here's a guy closing games at that age.
He used a little subterfuge there and got the ground ball for the final out. The Giants go down 3 up and 3 down, a 10-pitch inning for Hawkins. And for the Giants, the stunning 9th inning leaves this crowd in a state of befuddlement.
Well, it really was something that was unexpected, and you're just not used to seeing anything like this. And I'm telling you, Friday the 13th full moon, John, that's all I can come up with.
I'll never doubt that again. The Giants lose it 7-4 to the Rockies. Romo gets the loss. Belisle gets the win. A save for Hawkins. The Esurance Giants post-game live with interviews and the wrap coming up. But first, let's go to the Sportsnet Central studios.